we got Nick Agnelli
Hey.
and we got Pete Price here too, you guys, with some interesting stories, which we'll get to all of that.
Yeah.
But Nick, I have to start with you.
Yes, sir.
You lost 40 pounds in 70 days.
Yep.
How'd you do it?
So I guess we got the time, so I'll kind of dive it because there's levels to it, obviously. But my entire life, weight was always an issue. You know, God made me as a 5'7" meatball, and no metabolism, and I love food. I love binge eating. It's just, food has always been a comfort for me. It's always been kind of something to fall back on. So my entire life and all adolescence, I was overweight. You know, it's not necessarily ate bad food, but my mom's an amazing cook, and she'd cook the food, and I'd go back for seconds, and sometimes I'd even get a look from my dad like, holy shit, he's still hungry, you know? And then I played football on top of that. So football was kind of my scapegoat. I was an offensive lineman, and with that, being overweight was kind of like cliche thing to be. So I kind of used that as my identity as well. Got done with football. I had like one D3 look, and I was like, I'm not gonna go pay to play college football. Like I'm not gonna excel past that. So there's no point for me. And I told my mom that football year, I said I'm gonna lose weight. I said I'm gonna change who I am, and I just felt it in my bones. You know when you kind of say something and you get chills, like, oh my God, I'm believing it. Like the first time you say it. That's how I was with it, and. We lost in the state semifinals on a Friday. That weekend, I looked at her, I said, starts Monday. And again, I felt that conviction. Monday rolled around. I started a local boot camp. That boot camp had a paleo program at the time. It was like Weight Watchers mixed with paleo. It was a point system. And that day I went to the gym. First hard workout I've done in years. Went home, did the program. I'll never forget the next Tuesday, I'm in my second period class, and the holidays are coming up. It was November 26th, the first day I ever started. And so it was November 27th, and I'm in my second period class, and holidays are coming up, so they're giving like the little holiday parties and shit, and I get a bagel. I go to take a bite from the bagel, and that wasn't part of my program. It was automatic, though. Boom, bagel, hell yeah, cream cheese, zip, zip, and throw it in my mouth. And took a bite of the bagel, and I remember it was, again, I don't know. We'll dive into religion. I don't know. God has never talked to me, and the universe, I don't fucking know. But you get these senses sometimes of like, what was that? You know, and that was one of these things where I got this voice of like, what are you doing? I stood up out of my chair. I walked to the door of the classroom. I threw the bagel out. I walked outside. I spit the bagel out. I said, yeah, motherfucker, this is for real this time. And that, I went from 245 pounds to 175 pounds in 6 months.
Wow.
It was my life. I did not eat a processed carb for 7 months. I didn't eat a processed carb from November 26th to like middle of June the next year. It was strictly meats, nuts, vegetables, and that was it.
A lot of cardio?
CrossFit. So it was
cardio.
Functional fitness at the time, and being a young kid, I'm an obsessive person, right? So it goes from being obsessed with food and bullshit into obsessed with working out. And that's, in my opinion, the greatest drug in the world, because when those endorphins are getting released and you're looking like Superman and you know, you're feeling like a badass, there's no more higher feeling in the world, in my opinion. So all of that started to snowball, and I went up to Orlando. I went to the community college Valencia right outside of UCF with a bunch of my buddies, and my sister was already up there. And I went up there with a new identity, a new person. Back in school, I was the funny fat kid. Now I was the funny fat kid who lost weight. In Orlando, I'm just Nick, you know, take me at face value. And that was cool. I went up to Orlando, went to school for 2 semesters. I became a CrossFit coach on the side just for money and because I loved it.
Now, here's the picture. So now here on the left, what year is this, or how long ago is this?
These are the most recent pictures. Rob, if you scroll down, probably 3-4 years on my Instagram, it's a while. You'll see the original pictures of when I lost weight.
Yeah, we'll pull it up. So you did a lot of cardio or a lot of CrossFit.
Yeah.
You stayed away from any type of simple carbs.
For me, I kept it simple. I wish I was an analytical person, but like I'm not a macro counter. I don't have the patience for that. I see food, I eat it. Boom.
This podcast is sponsored by Let's Get Checked. Guys, let's talk about what your diet is doing to your testosterone. Fast food, protein bars, instant noodle, candy, soda, chips. How often do you consume these? If any of these are staples in your diet right now, you're consuming what is referred to as ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods have long ingredient lists, additives designed to make foods ready to eat, cost less, and yeah, They do a great job at doing that. But processed foods have high amounts of trans fat in them. This is an unhealthy type of fat, and if you consume a lot, it could lower your testosterone levels. Think about this. Consumption of ultra-processed foods have been rapidly rising since the 1980s, and the average man's testosterone levels has been dropping substantially in the same time frame. And this is true for men of all ages. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. They're a worldwide leader in at-home testing kits, and their male hormone test lets you easily test your testosterone levels at home. You can order a testing kit that will be delivered to you in a discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 days. These results are reviewed by a clinician, and a member of Let's Get Checked nursing team may call you to review your results. Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved and CAP accredited, which are the highest ranking levels of accreditation. So, if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS. And special offer for MSCS media viewers, use the code MSCS and get 30% off your test. The link is in the description below at the top. These results are reviewed by a clinician, and a member of Let's Get Checked nursing team may call you to review your results. Let's Get Checked laboratories are CLIA approved and CAP accredited, which are the highest ranking levels of accreditation. So, if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS. And special offer for MSCS media viewers, use the code MSCS and get 30% off your test. The link is in the description below at the top.
So for me, it was just kind of a calorie restriction of my macros. I was probably eating 1,500 calories a day consistently for 6 months. I mean, over time, you're going to lose weight. And so that's what it was for me. But that on top of cardio, on top of consistency, it was just, as an 18-year-old kid, you're going to lose weight. So keep going down.
This is you in your prime, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a little stud right there.
We're going way back here in time.
Oh, my God. Hold on. Rob, scroll up. I got to shout my friend out here real quick. Go to the picture on the top right.
Right here?
Yeah. Pull up that picture and tell me the first thing you see.
Evan Harvey Schlong.
Lehigh University.
So I worked at a restaurant at the time, and I posted this picture on a Saturday, and I walked in. There's an old gay gentleman there who was a server. Great guy, just the best. Old gays are the best. And walks up to me, he goes, "I liked your Instagram picture this weekend." I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then he pulled it up and he zoomed in. I said, "Okay, that's not all right."
Yeah.
I texted my boy. I said,
Is this
"Holy
on
shit."
YouTube?
Jesus.
Shout out.
You went to Lehigh?
Yeah, he did. He played football there.
Oh, that's him. Okay.
Sorry, Rob.
That's all right.
I got ADD.
Sidetracked a
I
little
like
bit.
that. All right, so scroll down.
So keep going.
There you are, Dwyer.
Yeah, that
Dwyer,
was,
baby.
All right, that's the picture we need.
that
Nick,
my
Nick,
son.
forget about your other picture.
Yeah.
That's the one we need. So that's what you see, and then the other picture
Correct.
that we show is what you came to.
That's where
Wow.
my son's playing football at Dwyer.
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
My son's there, yeah.
It's
We're both Dwyer grads.
yeah.
It's
Nice.
the best. It was a really, really awesome program, and a lot of the things that I learned in that program, I still take to my adult life today. And we talked about it on a podcast, but the influence that these coaches have on these kids, man. My parents split up in high school. It was kind of a rough time for me, and these coaches were like second fathers, and a lot of those characteristics they instilled. Sometimes I'll be doing something throughout my day, and it'll click, and I was like, damn, that makes sense now. At the time, it didn't, but now it does.
Now, Pete, did you know him when he was going through any of this weight loss, or had you guys kind of gotten together after he had lost?
So me and Nick
Majority.
have known each other most of our lives. Even elementary school we went together, so we go way back. But I would say we kind of rolled. We had a lot of mutual friends, but we kind of had different lifestyles, and we were friends with each other. We knew of each other, but we weren't like best friends like we are today. That was kind of more of a recent thing. But yeah, I mean, I witnessed Nick growing up, the way he described, and then going off to college. I was in Tallahassee and he was in Orlando, so I didn't really get to witness him during that whole transformation. But I remember watching him on social media get involved with like the philanthropy. You were doing something with homeless people for a while. There was a lot of like cool stuff that you had going on. And I remember like identifying all the changes that you were making in your life and kind of respecting that, because I could see that he was like on a new path and doing well.
What is philanthropy? I've heard like 17,000 different definitions.
It's something that Nick has used the word for, so I was kind of just reiterating what Nick said. My understanding is like charity.
Charity work, nonprofit stuff, Susan G. Komen breast cancer cure is a philanthropy, right? So like in college, you have fraternities and sororities, and they usually sponsor one philanthropy. So Ronald McDonald's Child House or whatever it is, right? But anything along those lines.
Did you know that, Rob?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you. And you have a crazy story. So you go then to FSU.
Sure. I was in the firefighter academy in Tallahassee.
But then you end up taking that firefighter academy over to FSU.
Yep.
And you get set up in a sting.
Yeah. So in high school, started smoking weed. Quickly started selling weed because I think I've always had like this business mentality. You know, I didn't like spending money on the thing. Everyone's smoking weed. I can make some money doing this. So it started early in high school, and when I thought about going away to college, like honestly, I wasn't thinking so much about school. I was really thinking like the weed business will probably be booming in Tallahassee. A bunch of college kids. I'll finally be on my own. Don't have to worry about like trapping out of the parents' house and stuff. And so get up to Tallahassee. And that was really, I was going to school, but not taking it super serious. I've never really been a great student. And, I was there for probably only about 6 months. And some kid got caught selling, like, ecstasy and acid out of his dorm room and just started flipping on anyone that he could to get out of trouble. I was one of those kids. And I start getting texts from FSU PD off of his phone. Obviously, I don't realize it's FSU PD, but they text me off his phone.
You think it's the guy, right?
I just think it's the guy. I've met up with him plenty of times, business as usual. And I also had a job at the mall at this time. I was working at Champs. I always kept like a regular job while I was doing this because, again, I just wanted to make as much money as I could, so I might as well get a paycheck as well. So I'm on my way to work that morning. I was going to go drop it off. I usually didn't like deliver like that, but I had to work that morning. So I was like, yeah, man, I'll bring it by on my way to work. So I was going by the Pike House at FSU, which is like the craziest party house at FSU. The Pike fraternity is like probably the biggest one in Tallahassee.
You know the Pike, Rob? No.
Nope.
It's a big deal up there.
It's huge, huh?
Yeah. And so this kid lived at the Pike House, and it was like the way that neighborhood was set up is it's a huge cul-de-sac basically, and the Pike House is right in the middle of it, and there's just a big like road that goes around the Pike House. One way in, one way out, though, of this plaza.
Oh, not good, huh?
Didn't occur to me at the time, that it's like an easy setup. It wasn't crossing my mind, really. I drive a motorcycle at this time, too. So I'm on my motorcycle. I got the work in my backpack. And I pull into this parking lot. I look to the parking lot's like empty. It's like 9 a.m. There's no one in the parking lot except for this one Chevy Silverado pickup truck with like blacked out windows. And so I'm on my motorcycle. I'm driving by, and I kind of look to my right at the truck. And through the windshield, I can see like 4 dudes ducking down behind the dashboard with like tactical vests on. I'm like, fuck, I think I know what this is. So I was pretty much in the place where I should park my motorcycle, get off, and meet this kid. But instead, I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to just keep going. So I go, I'm driving around the circle. I'm looking behind me the whole time, trying to see if these guys are following me. Doesn't look like anyone's following me, though. So at this time, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's not what I thought it was. I should have like taken the backpack off and just tossed it somewhere, But it was also like...
It was like the heat of the moment.
Right.
Was your instinct telling you, get rid of this shit?
Yeah, my gut was saying this is bad. But also, I was a college kid, and it was like $1,000 in my guys I wasn't going to just like toss it and move along. So it was going to take some convincing to get rid of it, and I was just trying to talk myself out.
4 guys in a car hidden at 9 a.m. with vest on, that's not a hint.
It was wishful thinking, I guess. I don't really know.
A third-party opinion real quick, and then I'm going to let you jump back.
Hindsight's 20/20, right?
Pete is... very good looking, innocent, like kind of sweet guy now. Pete at this time was El Chapo, right? So Pete like
changed my ways.
There's a different identity, and you'll hear it in some of the slang he uses, like had that work on me and shit. Like you wouldn't look at Pete on the street and he's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And also Pete, thank God it's all behind you, but he was moving fucking weight. It wasn't like a few dime bags on the weekend to his buddies,
Don't rob a fucking bank with this guy.
Yeah.
50 years.
He just gave it all up.
I'm throwing way under the bus.
Statute of limitations on this stuff.
How much I got to cut out of this?
Yeah.
Another 5.
Good, let it ride.
Throw the code in.
Throw the code in.
No, so I'll let you jump back. But so when you envision that, Pete, try to envision like a Eminem and 8 Mile type vibe,
right, down in Detroit.
Yeah.
It was a different Pete. I've come a long way. But yeah, so at this time, I'm riding around the cul-de-sac looking behind me, trying to see if these guys are following me. I don't see anyone following me, so I keep the backpack on. I just say, fuck this. I'm going to go to work. I'm leaving. And as I pull around the final corner to like leave the plaza, that same pickup truck is now driving towards me. Like they didn't follow me around the circle. They went the other way to cut me off. And so as soon as I see it driving towards me now, I'm like, fuck, this is exactly what I thought it was. The car fucking swerves sideways, stops in the middle of the road. 4 dudes jump out with guns. Get on the fucking ground. And now I look behind me, and there were unmarked cars in the parking lot that like pull out of spaces. More guys jump out with guns. And dude, I don't know what the fuck they thought I was going to do or where they thought I was going, but I'm sitting there on my motorcycle. I got my headphones in, bumping music. I'm like, I can't hear you. I'm assuming they're yelling, get on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. They run up, throw me down, and rip my helmet off. And they're like, oh, you couldn't hear us. You had headphones on. And yeah, man, that was it. I got booked. Bonded out that day and went through like the court process for maybe the next 6 or 8 months. Immediately moved back to West Palm. And kind of got my shit together after that. You know, it was one of those things where I decided I had a good run, but I'm not going to make this mistake twice, you know? Like, there was no chance I was going to go down that path and, like, not get my shit together after fucking up like that.
Right. It was like it had to happen.
Yeah,
at some
and
point.
I'm glad you kind of said that because I would, like, always have been big on the law of attraction and, like, kind of manifesting your own life. Your thoughts become things. And at that time, I was thinking a lot about, like, what's the end game here? You know, I can't sell weed forever. I'm not going to even be able to really get rich the way I think I want to be in the end of my life by selling weed. So, like, what's the end game? But I also knew I wasn't just going to walk away from making that kind of money. You know, it was going to take a lot of convincing to just be like, yeah, I'm hanging it up and I'm going to work a 9 to 5 and do it legit.
And at the time, it's not like you were thinking of like a career.
No,
you know,
right.
you weren't at FSU for a career or
Right.
whatever. You were there to further your drug business.
Yes.
Which a business is a business. You know, we
Sure.
always say it doesn't matter what it is.
Correct.
Whatever you learned in the drug business, you can apply to legal shit. It just
100%.
takes a hell of a lot longer to make the money.
That's it.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy how they jump out with like 27 guys?
Yeah, they were.
As if they haven't been
overcompensated.
following you for a year and a half,
Yeah.
and they know you're not going to come out blasting.
No, man, I don't know what they thought I was going to do. But I end up, so surprisingly enough, it was my first offense. It was a felony quantity and an enhanced charge because technically it was like FSU campus because that property is owned by the school. It was like far from the actual school, but it's owned by the school. So they hit me with like possession with intent to distribute on school property.
Oh, nice.
Which
So
was
like
great.
they threw in like the or the
Trafficking
school
and shit.
zone.
Yeah.
School zone. That's when you get buried with the tickets and shit.
Yeah, man. So I wound up doing 30 days in jail in Tallahassee like 6 to 8 months later whenever that court process got all settled. You know, it was an interesting experience. Took a lot away from it, learned a lot, and like I said, came home and got my shit together, it was realistically probably the best thing that ever happened to me because it really made me refocus my life and figure out what my goals were and start attacking them in like a realistic manner and kind of getting out of the stupid lifestyle that I had kind of developed for myself.
Well, had you gotten away, you probably would have got bigger and bigger and
then
heavier
maybe
shit,
the
heavier
consequences
shit,
are
and
worse.
then your little 30-day little bit is now,
Right.
15, 20,
100%.
which is crazy because I know a lot of guys that were selling weed,
Yeah.
just weed,
Yeah.
and still doing. I mean, they got 15 years federally.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
And I don't understand how they don't let them out when you can go right here and buy a weed card, even
Right.
though it's medical, but there's all these other states where it's recreational, and these guys are doing fucking.
Yeah, it's kind of
150.
bullshit. I mean, I went to jail for weed. I'm a felon because of weed.
Was that the charge, just weed?
Yeah, possession with intent to distribute.
Now, how does that make you feel when you see this? Now, you know, 30 days is 30 days,
Sure,
but still, the fact of the matter is now you can get it anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I have my weed card now and go buy weed at the store, and it's kind of fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
The irony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not bitter about it because, like I said, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I wouldn't change any of it. I would do it all again, and it made me who I am today. So.
And then that led you to the hospitality industry.
Right. So I came home, moved back to West Palm, and just got right back on the grind. You know, I wasn't going to be selling drugs, but I was going to work really fucking hard to make as much money as I could, and just kind of hit the street, went down Clematis, started applying for jobs everywhere I could at the bars and restaurants. And I got hired at Bradley's. I was probably like 17, 18 at this time. 18, I think. And just kind of worked my way up at Bradley's. I started in the kitchen, then worked through almost every position there until eventually I was bartending. And again, just wanted to keep grinding and moving up the ladder, even in that industry, you know? So I reached out to the owners after bartending for a while and was like, hey, look, I really love the opportunity you guys have given me. If you ever are looking for a manager, like I hope you would think of me because I want to keep learning and growing with you. And at this point, I've been bartending for a little bit. You know, I'm making relationships. I'm meeting people. I think I'm 19 years old now, and I get a call from the owner. And they're like, hey, man, you know, my dad, it was a son and his dad that owned this restaurant group. And my dad was telling me that you're interested in management. We don't need any help at Bradley's right now, but we've got this place Cucina on Palm Beach Island. If you'd be interested, come have lunch with me over there. I can kind of talk to you about what we need. So I meet with him, and was made the GM of Cucina on Palm Beach when I was 19 years old, which was another kind of insane.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man. It was another really life-changing moment, probably. That molded me into, again, the person you see today, all the experience that I got there, the stuff I learned, the people I met at such a young age. Running a nightclub, essentially, at 19 years old is a pretty insane experience, but it was great, man.
Not just a nightclub on Palm Beach Island, right? Where
it's all like
the clientele's not normal clientele, you know?
Correct.
It's like that guy owns a Fortune 500 company. You know?
Oh, so does the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, so geez, everybody here
Yeah.
does.
Everyone, right?
Yeah. And what people shouldn't miss was that in your path to being the GM at 19 and then opening another one for them.
Yeah.
You went down Clematis and did the footwork.
Yeah,
it's like you just said, okay, I'm going to stop selling drugs, go to West Palm. You got to work to get to where you were.
100%.
Yeah. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, man.
And then you opened up, what is it, Dakota?
123 Datura.
I can never say Datura.
So yeah, Cucina, when I first started there, I don't know, have you guys ever been to Cucina?
Mm-hmm. You've been there, right?
Yeah.
So Cucina opened in 2004, and it looked completely different then than it looks today. It got renovated several years ago. So when I first started at Cucina, it was the old Cucina. And then when we closed down to renovate, at pretty much the exact same time, 123 Datura opened by the same restaurant group. And so me and a lot of the staff over there went and opened 123, which that's another booming establishment for that restaurant group today.
How much hell is that to open up a restaurant? My grandparents had it, and I never saw them. My grandma and grandpa, they would live there. Actually, my grandpa lived there.
Yeah.
My grandma would go back and forth, but I mean, it was just,
it's a grind.
And it wasn't a big restaurant like that. This is back
Correct.
20 years ago in Pennsylvania.
It's a really hard industry too. I mean, I think 93% of restaurants and bars fail because there's so much, there. So many. And if you have one bad experience at a bar or restaurant, I ain't never going back again. That could be a bad drink, food, server. So it's hard.
It is hard, man. And it's never ending. It's a full-time job, 7 days a week, especially when you're the owner. You think that. A lot of the employees in the restaurant world that hope to one day open their own place, I think once I'm the owner, the work is over. But it's really not true. Once you own the place, the work never stops. Everything's on you now. So
because before you're dealing with the headaches, and then once you can't handle it, goes up the chain to the owner. So now as the owner, you're dealing with the big ones.
Bullshit.
Everything falls under your umbrella.
All the bullshit.
Yeah, man.
And like he said, if somebody leaves one bad review on that Google, you could destroy a 5-star restaurant just with one.
100%.
Now, when you were in college, right? What were you thinking you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I went up to school. I graduated high school with a 2.4 GPA. I was not a student like Pete said. Same type of thing. I always thought myself not as a smart ass, but I thought different. For instance, I'm going to school and this guy's teaching me accounting, and I'm thinking, if he was such a good fucking accountant, he'd be a CPA making $300,000 a year. Why is he making $30,000 a year teaching me accounting at a community college?
Good point.
And if that is true, I don't want to be learning from the D squad here. I want to go to the source. That's the way my brain works. So up in college, when I first moved up there, my dad was paying my rent, but I paid for everything else. So life and school and everything. And even, knock on wood, when I get really wealthy one day, my kids want to go to college, I'm going to make them pay for it. Because ultimately, in my opinion, you can't respect something unless you're forging the energy that goes into that. Amen. A lot of these kids go to college and they're like, why don't they respect it? Why don't you fucking think they respect it?
Amen.
They have a Florida prepaid plan, and they know that it's basically free school, so I can go there and fuck off for 4 years, get a piece of paper, and then I'm going to be entitled and feel like I'm owed something.
Right, because I have this.
Absolutely. You cheated through 99% of your classes. You went there to go, this is what I tell people, you went there to pass, not to learn. You went there to get A's. You didn't soak up anything. You didn't learn. You didn't experience. You didn't get more wise. And then you're done at 22, which in my opinion, I'm 26, almost 27 now. That's a kid still. You're a kid, and now you want to go play with the big boys. You don't know work ethic. You don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to stand in front of it and present. So there's a lot of things where Pete and I go against our grain in our generation, but this entitlement, this participation trophy bullshit.
Oh, we talk about that all the time.
And this isn't going to get political. It's just the fact. in my opinion, think that our generation as millennials and my father's generation likes to shit on us. And I say, who the fuck do you think raised us? But which is their generation, you know, but this shit that got let go for so long. And now it's becoming an issue of there's not enough people in the workforce. There's not enough people. Oh, I want to get hired tomorrow. I want 4 weeks off. I want full benefits. Actually, I'm going to be a month in Mykonos in 2 months. And I want to be your boss's boss in 2 years. If that's not happening, I'm out. And on top of that, I want to make $150,000 a year out of college.
Yeah. Well, they can because they know they'll just get another check in the mail.
Correct.
That the working man like me, you, Pete, Rob, that we pay for.
Correct.
You know, so it's almost doomed to turn into, you know, it's not really political. It's fact. I mean, it's on the way to social, or not. Well, it's probably already at socialism, but communism's right around the fucking corner. They're just, to me, in my opinion, and I have no mind to anything. It's a slow walk to communism right now. So, do you really think gas should be $7? Do you really think they can't get gas? Do you really think there's a fucking food shortage? Come on.
It's tough because, you know, Pete and I again only stick to facts, and I only put a certain amount of my energy into this whole thing because it's just draining. If you ever look into politics for a long amount of time, you literally will leave with a headache and you'll be like, dude, either literally everyone is corrupt, literally the entire game is corrupt, or I'm going to trust David Muir at nighttime and that's my life. So it's hard. It's like, you know, which way am I going to ride? And it ultimately depends the source and who you talk to kind of get that information and perceive one way or the other. It's really hard for my generation, though, when you have two such strong opinions. And we're in this cusp of, we're old enough now, we have careers, we have homes, we're creating our own thoughts, now we want to vote, all this stuff. But who the fuck do I trust? I got two 50-year-old men here screaming at me, telling me to go one way or the other. So all I would tell anyone to do who's listening is just do your own damn research. And then from there, with the information you have, make a decision based off of your own personality. Listen, I'm not saying anyone should be one way or the other. I see both sides. I was raised with both sides. Now with my life, for my benefits, I like one side over the other, but that doesn't mean the other side's wrong. But my opinion like this is the problem because that's like 10%.
Yeah, you're like me. You just want whoever's best. It doesn't matter if it's blue, red, purple,
I don't
whatever
give
it
a
is.
shit.
Yeah.
I don't be successful, be happy, do your thing, bro. Don't tell me what to do. I won't tell you what to do. Like, you know, that's just it.
It's so fucking corrupt though.
Well, more people I think are that way or becoming that way,
Correct.
I guess you can say. So I really think that the political party bullshit, Democrat, Republican, fuck them all, and just vote who you vote for. Be an independent,
Correct.
whatever the fuck it wants to be, and just show me the facts.
That's it. And it's so hard because when they get asked a direct question, they literally for 2 minutes bullshit answer, and then it's on to the next. And I'm like, dude, how am I supposed to interpret any of this? Because yet again, they're just waiting for the PACs to put money more back in their pocket, and then they run away rich, you know? And like, again, both sides do it, so I ain't leaning one way or the other. So I think that hopefully soon people start waking up. Like Rob said, I do think a majority of people are like us, quote unquote, the silent majority, but the majority of people are like us, where it's like, dude, live your life, be happy. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care who you love. That doesn't mean my opinion is going to be different, but do you, bro? I don't give a shit. It's your life. And that's what a lot of people have a hard time doing is like they want to transform their ideal to your world. And it's like, no, I'm my own person. You're your own person. Love yourself. I'm going to love myself and let me do my thing.
That's what you hope for, but but there's so much fucking corruption.
Yeah.
Oh shit, you know. Like you said, once you get into, you even just get a headache just trying to think about it because, you know, if we go to vote, does it really fucking matter? And that's what half of America thinks right now. Have you seen 2,000 Mules?
No.
Watch that, and it'll fuck you up.
And that's the thing about the wormhole. Once I kick that door in, there ain't no going back, bro. It's like quicksand, you know?
Like, for instance, my accountant, he's in that wormhole.
Yeah.
Heavy. But like 2,000 Mules is facts. It's a lot of video of the mail-ins and all that other shit, and you're seeing it happen again. Yeah. So, I mean, who gives a fuck, right? Now, you're done with the hospitality. You open up all that. What happened with COVID? When COVID happened, that was when you were like, okay, you were done. Why COVID? Why did that set that
So,
standard?
like I was saying earlier, I think a lot of like long-term people in the hospitality industry who take it serious, one day hope to like open their own establishment or have something that they own for themselves in that industry. And I was one of those people. I wanted to open my own concept similar to Cucina, nice restaurant, nightclub afterwards, and apply all the things that I had learned over the years. And so that was really my only game plan in my mind as far as what my future was, is, grind this out, hopefully to the point where I can get some equity with these people and also, go on to the next project with them and be an owner as well. And when COVID happened, that changed that industry a lot. For a while it was takeout only. So I mean, as far as a nightclub goes, that doesn't exist anymore. And not that I thought we would never get back to normal. Obviously I realized eventually we'd come out of it and nightclubs would go back to what they were. But I think at that point, it sort of got my wheels turning and thinking about, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Being in this industry that's so volatile, like it just got snatched away from us in a second. What if I was the owner of this place? What the fuck would I be doing? And we're watching all these places close, everyone getting laid off, people going out of business.
Now, was it the owner's choice to close? Because Florida was open pretty much from the gate. How long were they actually saying shutting people down? Or were they ever? Because I don't know, because I wasn't in the business.
When we were at this point during peak COVID, I was actually with Lenora's. So like at our Clematis location for Lenora's, we had like compliance officers coming by almost on a daily basis to make sure we were compliant with like the occupancy. Once takeout only was over, we were able to do like 25% occupancy, and they'd be coming by to like head count, make sure the tables were 6 feet apart. They would come with a fucking tape measure and measure that the tables were 6 feet apart every day. And you'd get fined if you weren't compliant every day.
Really?
Yeah. And so it was serious for a little while. It was definitely more lax than the rest of the country, I'll agree. But in the beginning, we were forced to abide by a lot of the regulations. And,
how long would you say that they were checking up on you like that? Where they were really digging and finding?
Like 6 months.
Really?
The first 6 months, yeah. Up until the point where it became like 75% occupancy. I feel like that was almost like the turning point where then we were like, all right, what's the difference between 75 and 100? And we kind of like it started to let up around that time. But I feel like it was a 6 to 8 month window where we were really restricted and having to abide by the rules.
Now, just off the top of your head, how many, being in that industry at the time, how many restaurants that were good, well-known, mom and pop probably most, did you see close that had been around for 10, 15 years and boom, that COVID just ended them?
Yeah. So like thinking of specific examples on Clematis, I'm not sure off the top of my head, but even if you didn't have to close your restaurant for good, it was a serious hit for everybody, it drastically affected everyone. And like, being in the position I was in, you're able to see the numbers and, we would always compare numbers to the previous year. And for that 6 to 8 months, it was, if you're cutting back to 25% occupancy, you can only assume that you're going to take at least 25% of that money that you made from the previous year, and a lot of the times it was worse because half the population was scared to leave their house and come out. And so I don't know, man. It was, I can't give you a specific example of anyone that had to close their doors, but I know that especially those mom and pop restaurants were hit the hardest because, it affects their pockets directly.
Yeah, because even when you open back up, maybe you're open back up, but are people going to come? Because if you turn on that TV, you think you're going to fucking die if you walk out the door.
Sure. And employment was a weird thing too. Like we had to lay off a ton of our employees when we first went down to takeout only because you pretty much only need like one person to run takeout only. So we lay off basically our entire staff. And then once things get back to normal and we got to bring people back in, we're calling back a lot of the staff. We're lining up interviews to bring in new people, thinking people are going to be dying to work. They must be eager to get back to work and make money.
They got that check.
It was impossible to get employees. It was like insane. We would line up 10 interviews for the day, right? Out of the 10 interviews, maybe 2 would show up because I think that was like one of the requirements to be able to get your unemployment check. You had to show that you were like lining up interviews and making an effort to get a job. God. But I don't think you had to actually show up to the interview. So like 2 out of the 10 would show up. Hopefully out of those 2 people, one of them's a decent candidate. And it was almost a guarantee that they were going to be like, so how much can I expect to make per week here? Because they're gauging, is it going to be more than the unemployment check that they're getting for doing nothing?
Right.
And when we're running at 25, 50% occupancy, we weren't like necessarily making crazy money. So a lot of the times the answer wasn't more than that unemployment check. So it was like impossible. The turnover was crazy. In a time where you think people were desperate for work, no one wanted to work.
And for people that don't know, if they're not from Florida, Lenore's has been around forever.
Yeah.
That old man, I know the old man. He's been around forever.
Ralph.
Ralph. I mean, forever. So, I mean, before, that's a place where people want to go because of the reputation and everything else. And, you know, it's quality food. And when people don't want to work, I remember at that same time period, even like 6 months ago, I would go to get like a new tire on my car or an oil, just something small. And they'd be like, we don't have any workers, man. It's going to be 2 months. I'm like, 2 months?
Yeah.
And then I would go somewhere else. Same thing.
Crazy, man.
You know, it was just unbelievable. People not working. So then first the business has to deal with the COVID in general and all that bullshit.
Yep.
Then you open up and you have to deal with the people getting the balls to come back out to go in public.
Yep.
Then you get them to come back out. Now you can't get anybody to work because they still got a little bit of that check left.
Yep.
So like COVID, to me, it seems like it did one of two things. Like you, it got you out of the hospitality industry and you got into your own thing. You guys, you know, started your podcast, we'll get to.
Yep.
And, you know, COVID, I don't know. You did.
Construction industry is like real estate industry right now. It's ridiculous.
Fucking nuts.
And we never stopped at all through COVID because we were considered emergency work. Construction work is emergency work. So
you hit the jackpot on that one, buddy.
We had 2 weeks because people forget, like now I'd say it's a 50-50 split among the atmosphere, but like March 20th, 2020, when that shit went out, it was literally like I walk outside, I'm dead, boom, done. And that was the vibe. You'd walk past someone and like duck away because it was very scary because they'd show video of people walking down the street in Asia just dropping like flies. And you're like, I'm gonna chill at home actually, you know, like, but there's only so much Netflix and shit you can watch and like, and then you're just like, dude, I'm losing my mind. And what people don't understand is the biology of a human. If you put them inside and then on top of that give them anxiety, bro, that is a recipe for fucking nothing. And then on top of that, here's a blank check actually too. I'm just gonna print $7 trillion and hand it out to you guys. I don't want to expect inflation on the backside, but here's your money. Don't feel entitled and don't feel like you have to work. And like that's the irony behind the whole thing for me is like I'm a very straight thinker and I do see through some of the bullshit. Like I said, I just see facts. And like what Pete said, that whole recipe, that's not a recipe for someone to say, damn, man, I could either work from 4 to 11 tonight or I could sit on my couch and have a hell of a night.
No, it's a recipe for control is what
Correct.
It is. Can you pull up tab 2?
Yep.
Now, at what point after you drop out of college does your dad allow you to start running the construction business?
So what happened is I did the 2 semesters. I'll never forget. I was in the second semester paying for school, like I said, and it was just started, and I was in a business calculus class. Now, I'm in business for 6 years. I don't know what the fuck business calculus is. But I remember I bought a 200...
Does anybody ever use... Have you ever used calculus?
It's fake. It's literally a foreign language.
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Have you?
No.
Have you?
Not a math guy.
My stepbrother went, and it was this calculus bullshit, and I haven't used it a day in my life. I don't even know what it is to this day.
And you're like a coder. You're like, you'd be the guy to use calculus, I feel like, you know?
I don't even know the definition of it.
That's what I'm saying. I think they just throw smoke bombs, and it's like calculus is one of them, you know, and we're going to throw an AP test on. It's just stupid. But anyways, I'm in a business calculus.
Like philanthropy. I don't really know what it means.
Yeah.
Say it sometimes.
It's a fact. Yeah. So I'm in this class. I'm almost falling asleep because I don't care. And I remember, again, back to like the voices in your head, and you just get shifts in life. I remember getting kind of popped up. I was 30 minutes into a 2-hour class and saying, I'm done, dude. Closed my book, walked up out of class. The guy on the way out said, where are you going? I said, bathroom. I walked to my car. On the way to my car, I called my mom first, and I said, I already knew what I was going to say. I said, Mom, I know what this means. I said, and you know, as a parent, I always see the other side. I said, I know as a parent, you want me to have security as your child, and you want me to have something to fall back on. But I'm not a fall back on guy. And that's not like a hard statement. That's not me being a badass. That's me like, I don't like ceilings in life. I don't like directions really. I like kind of digging until I hit gold, and then that's a lesson. I'll go to the next
Good
one.
move, by the way. Going to mom first to smooth it.
Oh, 100%. You know, and I'm a mama's boy. You know, but ultimately, when I make decisions in life from then to today, you're not going to change my mind. So called her, told her that. She's like, Nick, I understand. And I said, also with this, I know I'm completely on my own. I'm not going to ask you guys for $1 or a dime. I was working part-time at a restaurant. I was just a server at a sports bar, and I knew that meant I was going to go full-time on that, which I had already leaned on. I already thought about in my head. And I said, I'm not going to pay for something I don't know if I'm going to use. I'm going to experience the world, and when I learn things and I take a mental note of, boom, I liked that, or I liked retail, or I liked insurance, or real estate, whatever it is, then I will go and pursue that path and whatever that means. But I'm not going to go to school for a business degree and get out and wear a button-down shirt, make $40,000 a year, and be miserable. Why? Why would I do that? So
That's before taxes too, by the way.
correct. But in our defense, in our generation's defense, that's what we were fed as kids. It was go to college, get a degree, so you can get a job and work not hard like me. And that was it. That kind of rhymed.
I don't see a point. I don't see a point in college unless you're a dentist, doctor,
That's
nurse,
hard.
lawyer. Other than that, I mean, what's the point? You're going to go there and what? You're going to come out, you're either going to be fucked up for 4 years, or you're actually going to sit there like a I don't know, like a robot and learn some shit and get out. You're probably going to use 1% of it and have a $60,000 loan. If you're lucky, only 60. Now you got forever to pay it.
Correct.
But when you get out, if you're not fortunate and you don't have family that can help you out, or you don't have a skill where you can get a job, you have that fucking loan forever.
Yeah.
For what? One way or another, you're paying on that loan.
You may not have to pay it at all now, though.
Yeah, I know.
So that's
yeah.
free school to just hang out and
That's
fuck
my point.
around.
And you think they're going to respect that? No way.
Yeah, who's going to take free school serious?
Well, right. So they'll pay for that, and then nobody will have any money to be able to drive to school.
Correct.
Well,
Because that would just make the thing go up, and then
they'll give money for that too. Then
okay.
free park.
Well, yeah, well then they will have full fucking control. Then
Yeah.
that's probably what's around the corner.
So I called Dad after Mom, and I said, same thing. I said, Pop, I get where you're coming from. But I had the argument of, like, you can't tell me to go to college when you guys didn't go to college, assholes. Like, and you guys are happy and successful in your own means. So, but I said, I'm going to go experience life. I'm not going to go sit on my ass and expect something. I said, I'm going to go try different sectors and see what I like the best. And when something hits my heart, I'm going to run with it. So at that time, I dove deeper. I was probably 20 at the time, dove deeper into CrossFit. I was working on the weekends at a local sports bar in Orlando, and then during the week, I would coach the mornings. I lived at the gym like 6 hours a week. 6 hours a day. I was there all day, every day, and CrossFit was my life. I was trying to become a CrossFit athlete, and that was it. I was 20, 21 years old, and it was just great. And then 21 rolled around, and I had this shift in life where I was like, okay, I'm not going to be a CrossFit coach because either I have to own a gym, but then my relationship with fitness and health gets skewed because now I'm there to make money, not there to change lives and help myself. And I was always starting to get that when you're in a gym for 8 hours a day, like, you don't want to work out, like, because you're there. It's like working at a restaurant saying you want to eat that food. You're like, nah, bro, I see it cooked every day, So it was hard for me to have a good relationship with it. So I started looking down different things, and I've always been a person. I've never put in one job application in my life that I didn't have a connection to. I've never actually put in a job application in my life. Maybe Winn-Dixie when I was 14, but it's always been a job that I've gotten the interview on off rip because I knew the person. I'm all about connections. I'm all about meeting people, good energy.
It's always network.
It's always
Anybody
network.
successful, it's always network.
Correct.
So Nick, when did Pops give you the construction job?
So we're partners. So the way that worked is after the 2 years, I was 21 at the time. I called up my dad and I said, Dad, boy, did I never think I was going to say this, but I'm considering construction. And my dad is blue collar guys come. I come home from work after he busted his ass all day as a kid growing up. Drywall mud on his head, dust on his pants, ripped jean shorts. But the hardest working man I've ever met in my life. He knew what hard work was. And as a kid, you think you know, and then you get your eyes open to like, holy shit. That wasn't actually working.
Scroll down a little bit, Rob, because just the few that you put up on here.
I got to get better at. So,
I like the what is that? Jacuzzi? Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, we wrap that around. So, but as blue collars, it comes where it's like we never took before and after pictures of any of the projects we did because it was like show up the first day, start demo, boom. Like
that's the one there with the roofs. I was like, okay.
Yeah, so
because that's what it was, right?
Correct. So this was in Boynton. This was in a development where they wanted to blow out the front. They wanted to create that garage into an extended garage and then create a fourth bedroom there. Took the whole roof off. This was 2 years ago, I think. And it's been an amazing ride. When I first came down as an entitled millennial, I will admit myself, I thought, I'm going to get into the business. I'm going to do like marketing, whatever.
I
want to
ask you about that though. When you do that, when you blow that out, and you added a garage to it.
Yeah. So the picture in the center there, that's the original picture, right? So I had a carport there. Where that carport is now the backside of that 4th bedroom, and then we extended the garage out about another 10 feet.
Oh wow! You guys did a hell of a job.
Yeah, it was just old golf community vibes, and so we went in and gutted it. Obviously, you saw it to the bone. So when you do that type of work with your MEPs, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, you got to cut the slab, move stuff. So also they had a patio in the back that we blew out, and that was living room space.
And then how long did that take to do, that blowout?
That job was 2020. That was during COVID. So that was one of the ones that, we were steamrolling through, and I would say about 11 months.
Not bad.
Finish.
That's a big job.
So I would consider our company, I would say to compare industries, like a small coffee shop, but super niche. And, what happened was my dad was always a blue collar guy. 18 years old, started installing windows, worked with his hands in high rises in Fort Lauderdale. He was born and raised, and that was just his life. And then he's a natural leader though, and he's a micromanager, and he has an expectation that's hard for people to reach to, even myself. And so when he was in his late 20s, after being in that industry for a while, he married my mom, and he said, I kind of want to do this contracting stuff. So in his 20s, he did that, and then he bounced around between subcontracting to a certain extent. Did a lot of cultured marble and bathtubs and all that stuff. And then in the early 2000s, he got a partner in which they started building single-family spec homes in Port St. Lucie. So the guy was fronting the capital. He was building the homes, basically split it down the middle, and that's when the market was rolling in the early 2000s. They were handing out mortgages and anyone who had a heartbeat, and people were buying. And so he did great. It was great. It was 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Our family was booming and making great money. We lived a humble life, and then 2008 happened. And my dad, who was a very analytical, skeptical guy, to his benefit for the most part in his life, was late to the party with the investing in 2008. So a lot of his blue-collar guys who were going out here buying condos, selling them before the building was even done being built, and making $100K, and you're at a poker game on Friday night, and your buddy's telling you about this, and you're like, I know I'm smarter than that guy. He just made 6 figures signing 2 pieces of paper. I might want to do that too. So after seeing it so many times, my dad went and bought a lot of property in Port St. Lucie where we were going to build homes, and invested in a condo, and was just fronting all this stuff. And right when he fronted it is when it hit. So it was really hard for him, but that man, to his respect, he is the hardest working non-quitter, blue-collar guy you could ever imagine in your life. He would die on the sword for his business and what he built. And what people don't understand too is, as a business owner, it's a baby, it's a child, and it's like,
well, you built it. You built it from nothing.
From nothing.
You were there when you had ramen noodles,
correct?
So you could do a job you were short on,
correct.
This and that. So now, if somebody wants to find your construction company, what's the best way to try to find you guys?
So
blowing out a garage like that is no fucking joke.
Yeah. So when the market hit, my dad.
I don't think any of my engineers could have done that.
No.
I don't. Blowing out a garage and then putting on.
I find that amazing when you just see. I never have vision. Like Millie's good with that. She'll be like, "Oh, if you move the wall here, if you do this." Which I'm going to talk to you after.
Yeah.
I got some ideas in my house I want to ask you about, but yeah, just blowing out walls and seeing how you can open up a kitchen or switch a door from here to here. Like, it's so...
You should see what this guy did with his own house. It's beautiful.
It takes a lot of years of experience, because now when I'm demoing something, it's weird, to your engineering world. It's like an AutoCAD type thing. But as I'm walking through the place, I'm literally closing my eyes and framing walls up in my head. But there's so much backside to it, because if I frame this wall here and I got to bring plumbing to it, but the plumbing's over there, I got to move the plumbing. Well, if I got a toilet coming here, that plumbing supply to the toilet's got to be 7 inches above the finished floor because it can't be in the baseboard. Well, what size is the baseboard? So there's like a million little things that go in just a fucking toilet. So as a GC, you never stop, because you got to be 7 steps ahead, and at the same time, you got to be ordering material, scheduling shit. So there's
make sure it gets in on time.
And
it's an art, right? From what you're saying, because we had a premier artist in here last week. It sounds like it's an art. Yeah. Like what you do is a form of art.
It's a dance. It's a very choreographed dance, and if you ain't two-stepping right, you could fall on your ass bad. And for my dad, like when everything dropped and he had Do I quit and be a normal construction guy for the school system, or do I, continue? And he rode that out. He went from making a lot of money to renovating little stores in Fort Lauderdale, to pay his guys. He had a crew of 2 at the time. He would take the aluminum windows out of a place that he was renovating, go to the dumpster after work, smash out the glass, take the aluminum, recycle it, and that's how he'd pay his guys that check that week.
That's called a man.
That's the type of...
That's called a fucking man. Is what it's called.
And it's I get chills even talking about it now, because that is the type of stuff that people, in that grit, that people don't have anymore. It's like there is no plan B.
No.
I'm either not eating tonight, or I'm smashing this glass out and I'm fucking getting the aluminum.
The go-getters are gone. They're just gone.
I don't want to say gone, because
few
we're
and
there,
far between.
right?
When I say gone, and if I had 200,000 people, how many do you think out of
Almost extinct. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
on 200,000? We'll make it easy. On 100,000, how many do you think are go-getters?
1%.
They'll take the fucking you.
Yeah,
1%
100 out of 100,000.
100 out of 100,000. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. So
I think 50. And then when you multiply that with what's in the world, what, 350 million people in the world?
We'd be compared to the endangered species.
Yeah.
We're endangered
We're
species
fucking
right
endangered.
now.
We're fucking endangered for sure.
It's tough too, but that's the type of stuff that no words need to be said. It wasn't wax on, wax off type things. I just saw what he did, and I felt that energy. And now a standard was set, a temperature was set in the room, and now I got to live up to that shit. So he went from just renovating, and then he got into a network of very elite group, high tax bracket. He worked on the island for a few years. He did work on a cruise ship called the World, which is basically a floating condominium. And so he got into this exclusivity of being in certain clientele, and then our projects. So that was the sickest project I've ever done. So this, my guy's just finishing. This is a condo we work at North Palm.
Which one, I'm sorry?
Go back, middle, no, down. So this was a house we built in Pompano, right in the center. Yep, house we built in Pompano. Right, what you see there is a seamless entry into the back patio. There's a water behind it, but those are called bifold impact doors. And those doors slide all the way to the right, so you got an open breeze. Now, on the front side of the house, we put a big-ass pivot door, so you could literally open, so that's a wine wall there.
Damn.
Sick.
Yeah, we have a granite countertop that goes right into the wall there.
Cool.
But this is the type of shit, okay, so as a GC, right, you have that, this for instance, right, but you have that bar top that goes into the wall, right? Mm-hmm. At that wall, it's 1 5/8 framing. So how am I going to put this one right here? Yep. How am I going to put a 300-pound granite countertop into an 1 5/8 20 gauge metal? That's not going to hold it up. So 6 months ago, I had to put backing in that wall to hold this granite countertop that I didn't even know yet. So those are the type of steps where it's like, okay, well, these are questions I got to ask. And if you don't know those questions, then you'll get screwed on the backside.
Yeah, you're gonna blow up, bro. You're gonna blow up because you look at it way differently. That's what I'm saying. You look at it like an artist. You do, because you're picturing what you're gonna do. That's an artist, and then you make it happen, and then you have all the variables around it. And I want him to tell me. Tell me about his house. What did he do?
It's beautiful, man. So, how quick did you flip it? 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah. So I don't know. You just walk in and. From the outside, it's a big property. I don't know if you want me to say where you live, but it's a big property. And from the outside, it looks like a pretty modest house. But when you walk in, it just is completely transformed and renovated and beautiful on the inside. And to hear that he did it in 30 days.
That's the best way to do it, right? Like you get an okay house that isn't going to kill you.
Right.
And then you renovate the inside. So people look on the outside, but then they walk in and they're like, whoa, great if you're looking for a girlfriend.
Wide open. It's great, man. You killed it.
But it's also the bones of it too, right? So it's hard because all these flippers in this industry now, and the YouTube flippers and all that shit, watch HGTV twice and think they could flip.
You have nothing to worry about. I've looked... When I had the engineering company, looking for general contractors, even now, they're all on fucking drugs down here. Yeah. They're fucked up. They'll show up for a little while until they get a couple paychecks, and then they don't come back because I redid my house. Yeah. I got like an okay house, and then I redid the entire inside. And I went through 5 general contractors, and all of them were beasts.
Yep.
But once they got that money, I could tell, you know, a little bit later,
Yeah.
you know, all right, this one's on pain pills. All right, I got another week, but this fucker better start calling.
Yeah.
You know.
And
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you,
Yeah. So
phone number, email, we'll have it all in the description.
Yeah.
But while they're
So
watching,
I would say best to call me directly. And like I said, it's just my dad and I in the company. We have subcontractors we use the last 20 years. They're like family. Construction industry is interesting because it's almost like a barber who's renting a chair in a barbershop or a tattoo artist renting a chair at a tattoo shop. They're part of the entity, but yet they make their own money and they're their own entity in itself. So my subcontractors are ultimately part of my team, but yet they're their own LLC. So it's a hard dynamic to have because you want to push them like a kid to be more. But if you piss them off too much, they just won't answer the phone. Mm-hmm. So there's this weird relationship and trust you got to have because ultimately they're building the bones of what I call my product. So there's a lot of trust that goes there. And
I completely understand because one of the other reasons why I closed the engineering firm was the envy. Because once we started doing bigger jobs, now that pool that was, you know, I've said this before, but that pool that was, say, $15K my cost, right? Exact same pool, BOCA, permit, this, that, the other, blah, 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 blah. That same engineer, you know, structural, civil, blah, blah, blah. Now that pool's $25K my cost.
Correct.
Right? And this started happening more and more and more. And then just before it got crazy, among other reasons, you know, it was just time to go, you know.
It's a sketchy industry. It's like going to a car mechanic and the guy's like, yeah, your radiator's broken. You're like, I don't even know where the fuck that is. And he's like, yeah, if you jump on the highway today, you're probably going to die. And you're like, okay, well, here's $400. Take my radiator out. I don't even know what a radiator is. Is it broken? It's just a sketchy industry because as a contractor, I could sell you anything. And you're like, I don't know enough about it. Back to our school system, the fact that that's not even something that's even touched on, but, you know, AP ecology is, whatever that is. But knowing how to swing a hammer or screw a screw is like foreign.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm terrible.
I
went to high school and I never got taught how to like
nothing.
cut a piece of wood straight.
Yeah,
You know
what
how
happened to
hard it was
shop
for me to-
class?
What?
What happened to shop class? You
Well,
know?
it was a selective thing.
Or something.
They needed to teach financial literacy as a mandatory thing in high school. They needed to teach self-respect and emotional intelligence in high school. They needed to teach how to work with your hands. They needed to teach how to pay taxes, how to write an actual
Stuff
letter.
you do every
I went
day.
to go write a fucking old-fashioned letter, right, the other day, and I said, where do I put the address, in the middle or the top left?
Yeah, right.
That's an issue, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I can't read cursive for my clients who are 80 years old, you know, like, because I'm just typing. So,
You know how many people I know your age and your age that do not know how to write a check? And I'm not one to talk because
Yeah.
I didn't know either.
yeah.
I didn't know either. I would just give it to somebody else and have them do it.
Sure.
But so I'm guilty as well. But it's because relating to what we're talking about, they're not teaching you shit that
not.
you actually use.
Right.
You know?
And to your wormhole thing, is that intentional? Pff, that's a wormhole. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard. And it makes
I think that's a fact.
Yeah.
it depends of the way you view it, Tommy. I ain't going to go down that wormhole. But,
Okay.
but
all right. Pete, you're with me here. Now, Nick, let me ask you something. Did you not just say that there's nothing you learned in college or would learn or even fucking high school that you applied today in your business? Other than maybe like plus and minus and shit like that.
my view on college is hard. It's hard because...
This is one of these guys that they'll never admit it.
Geometry had it.
It's like
No,
if
no,
I
no.
if
He's
I
good with his
say,
words.
what color's this?
Oh, listen. Listen.
That could be an
Okay.
awful. That's a,
Well, this is the last part of the podcast we're going to get into. I don't believe anything. All right?
This episode is sponsored by Aurora. Do you know what the fastest growing crime rate in America is? For years, this crime rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans. I'm talking about identity theft, and there's a new victim every 14 seconds. Yet despite this, those who have had their identity stolen, they act shocked when it happens. That's why I'm excited to partner with Aurora, who is sponsoring this video. Aurora's identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all combined into one easy-to-use app. Aurora monitors the dark web for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers and sends alerts fast, right to your phone and email. When it comes to fraud, every second matters. Don't put your family at risk. Try Aurora free for 2 weeks and see if your personal identifiable information has leaked to the dark web. Start your free trial at aurora.com/MSCS. Link is in the description below.
But
Point
to
being, if you thought that this was red,
yeah.
this would be red
Yeah.
until I say, fine, fucking it's red, Nick.
But what if I identify as a colorblind and I don't know the color of that?
Ooh.
You know, wormhole. Boom! I got it again, Tommy.
But you already made eye contact. So we could vary.
No, but my relationship with college is hard, right? Because I find, and it almost makes me angry type of relationship because I feel like they're taking advantage of it, on the front side with student loans, with interest rates that kids don't even know what an interest rate is, and they're going to kick their ass on the backside, and then, getting preached that we need to, and then these colleges making so much money, you need to buy the new book to get the code, and those companies bending us over. And like I said, it was preached down our throat, and it makes me upset because when I dropped out, I looked at my buddies who similar personality to me, and I was like, no offense to them, but they're not going to get, just like me, they're not going to get places through their intelligence or their downloading of information. They're going to get through places through their personality and the network they make.
What's your point of view on college at this point, Rob?
I mean, I went 4 years.
He's the only one who went.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
And
us three guys over
Yeah.
here.
I used to always say it was like the experience. Like, party, did cool stuff. But I did get, for me, like I got like hands-on experience when it came to TV, working a camera, running stuff. At NBC, Philadelphia, where we had internships at, hands-on stuff. So the first 2 years of college, in my opinion, is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The first two.
Prereqs.
Because it's all the bullshit. Yeah, so you've got to take a history class. You got to take this class. I took a weightlifting class. Like, what the fuck?
In college?
Yeah,
They have weightlifting
was
class?
great,
You get credit for that?
Yeah, I got credit for it. It's cool.
Oh, they got like karate classes and
Yeah,
shit. No,
that's
it's a
cool.
joke. But yeah, it's cool. But like,
But a waste, yeah.
I'm a business major. Why am I taking a karate class?
But what I think they should do, I think college should go to, and I know they have programs now and things like that, but this should be only be 2 years. Unless you're going to be a doctor, of course, you're going 7 years, but do the shit in high school, get credits for whatever college be done, and go for what you're doing. Like, if you're going to be a veterinarian or a TV guy, that's what you should just be doing.
It should be
That's
only
it.
veterinarian, right?
Correct, that's it. None of
Only
the,
veterinarian.
Christopher Columbus.
Not karate.
I learned about him already. I get it.
Yeah, and his teeth.
Like, come on. Like, yeah, we learned as people.
But I think to your point too, like, did you know that you wanted to be, that you had a future in TV, or like that was the industry that you wanted to be in when you were going to college?
I did, because in high school I did like, high school TV thing that would do the announcements.
Right, the announcements.
I
and
really
stuff.
want to be a sports broadcaster.
Right. So, but you took the right steps, like you already kind of had an idea of the career path you wanted, and then you went and got that experience sort of in college. Like you said, it's longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
But at least like you then got a degree in something and then got a career in it. I don't think that's the case for most people that go to college. They go get a general degree and then go home and serve at Outback for 5 years.
And then you have like your college, what are they called? And not admissions, college.
Counselors.
Counselors.
Oh, fuck.
Boy, that job is the best job in the world.
Hell
because
yeah.
all they do is they go,
And you get a ton of time off.
oh, what do you think you want to do with your life? Like, I have a friend who went to school, and the first 3 years he had no clue what he wanted to do. He's just there, throw it in the air and see if it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't pay for school, like you said. His dad paid, so whatever. Fuck it. He's drinking. He's doing this, doing that. And this kind of like, what? I think I could see you. You definitely have the personality where you could be a businessman. And then like the next week he's like, oh, I'm gonna be a business, whatever. And then the next week it was something different because he had no idea what he wanted to be. And that counselor's getting paid.
And that was a decade ago or more.
Yeah.
Imagine now.
We just had someone on our podcast recently that said they changed their major 12 times while they were in college.
12 times.
12
Wow.
times.
It's a money racket.
It is, and it makes me, it's like I get angry, and so what I would tell people these days, like when I talk to my fiance about with our kids, because she's on the opposite side, and that's what I love about that balance. She went to undergrad with pre-med, and then she went to grad school down here at Nova for she's a physical therapist, so grad school in physical therapy. She's badass, but she got that degree, so she did 7 years post high school. I did 0.5, so I have my opinion, which is strong, and she has her opinion of education does matter. What I am going to tell my kids is before I give you a dime, you're going to try several different things. Yep. But even to my fiance's point, there's some days where she's like, why did I do physical therapy? And I get it. We all have those days. But what I would tell my kids, if they want to go to undergrad for pre-med and then physical therapy for graduate school, I want you to go intern for free at a physical therapist shop for 2 months over summer before I pay a cent. If after those 2 months you love,
all right,
we're in. I'm in. But you're going to, for free, because you do something for free, you have a whole different perspective. Have an internship
I never got paid for an internship. Not one
100%.
time ever. It was always, and man, it was hours, no pay. Just to get the experience to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Because if you do something for free and you don't finish it saying that was the most miserable thing in the world, that's for you then, in my opinion. Like if that's a win if you say I'm never doing that again in your life.
And I think they got to tell kids, going in, listen, if you want to be a teacher, be a teacher. That's
Correct.
great. You know, if you want to be whatever you want to be it. If that's what you really is in your heart. But know that if you're going to go to the University of Florida or Florida State or wherever you're going to go, and a teaching and it's going to cost you, let's say, $60,000 a year. Let's just pretend you're going to take a loan out for 60. So do the math: 60, 120, 180, 240. Let's just pretend it's 60.
Mm-hmm.
Was that calculus you just did?
I think.
Yeah, it's a
Don't ask
So but you're only going to get paid your top salary after so many years. Maybe is $50,000. You're gonna have a hard time paying that loan back. It's gonna take a long time. But they don't tell them that. Like, oh yeah, I take the loan and
Yeah,
you're
take
getting
it.
paid nothing.
Stay another year.
Yeah.
Party another year.
That's you know.
Now, how do you're done with the hospitality, COVID happens.
Yeah.
And then how do you go from hospitality to tattooing? I mean, that's quite a switch. I
Absolutely.
understand if it was maybe like a subconscious love.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So,
How did that transform into what it did?
So I've been an artist my whole life. As a kid, I used to just draw and paint at home for fun. I've always been artistic, and I went to Bach Middle School of the Arts around here. It's a school you audition to get into for different majors. They have like theater and vocal and all sorts of things. But I went for visual arts. So every day, like from 6th to 8th grade, instead of having regular electives, we had like fine arts classes. So you'd go and learn about fine art, and how to practice, sculpting, painting, drawing from, an art teacher. And I loved it then and learned a lot, but was a little burnt out, I think, by the time I got out of Middle School of the Arts. So I went to Dwyer, regular public high school. I also wanted to play like football and baseball and stuff. And the arts high school didn't have a great sports program. So after that, I mean, the extent of like my art practice was really like graffiti and, like doodling on my math homework. And I was into getting tattoos at an early age, but like when I was in art school, I was a good artist. But there were some kids there that were like insanely naturally talented, like they would set up still lifes for us in class to like draw like a bowl of fruit or something. I could draw the bowl of fruit really well. It looked great. But there was this kid that sat next to me named Stanley. And he was like insane. When we were in 6th grade, he would bring in like baseball cards, or like they were like baseball like player cards where they would be like guys on their pads running with the ball. And he would draw it identical to the picture on the card. And that wasn't our assignment for the day or anything. That's just what Stanley felt like drawing. And it would be identical. And he's using like a little mechanical pencil. I've got like an $80 ebony pencil set. And this kid was just naturally insane,
Well, his name is Stanley, so he's kind of got to have something to
He had to have something
even
going
that
for
out,
him, right? He also had gold teeth in 6th grade, which is pretty nuts.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was dope. But anyway.
Definitely sticks out.
Yeah, I
wanna
won't
get
forget that
noticed.
guy. But growing up, I sort of thought that the guys who became tattoo artists were guys like Stanley. Because if someone brings you a picture of their grandma, they got to be able to tattoo grandma on them just like the photograph. And that's what I was witnessing this kid do. I couldn't do that back then. And so, I knew I was an artist, but I didn't think I like had that, And as I get older, I'm getting tattoos. I've always knew I wanted to be covered in tattoos. And thank God, like, the hospitality industry is very tattoo friendly, so it was never really an issue in progressing in that career. And so fast forward to COVID time, I don't know why, as the industry that I was in was like in turmoil, I thought it was going to be a good idea to go get my hands and knuckles tattooed. But I did. I made this appointment to go get my hands and knuckles tatted, like peak COVID restrictions. And I'd been good friends with my tattoo artist for a while. He owned a shop down in Coral Springs called Unforgettable Ink. Wicked talented artist, insane with portraits, and just a super talented artist. And I go down there, I'm getting my hands and knuckles tattooed by him. He had just gotten some words across his forehead tattooed on him. Not like literally the middle of his forehead, it was like his hairline. And it was like this crazy gothic font that you like can't even really read. To this day, I still don't know what it says on his forehead.
I was just going to ask you what it says.
I don't know what it says, but I felt like it was rude to ask,
Yeah, I want to ask.
No, right.
Yeah.
But it looks cool,
Yeah,
It looks cool.
It fits him.
Right. He's got his whole head tattooed, so it wasn't even.
So it fits
anything
him
crazy.
with everything.
Yeah.
Else, yeah.
You got to say like, I love that, and then see what he says back to it. Yeah.
That's
No, you got to ask him if he loves that in 20 years.
Right.
Or 30
we'll
years.
see,
No, I'm
so
sure
anyway,
he loves it.
I'm sitting. He tags the tattoo artist that did this crazy tattoo on his head, and I'm looking at this guy's page, and all he does is this crazy gothic font. That's all this guy tattoos, and he's got like an insane following, clearly a established tattoo career, and not a single grandma portrait or even like a rose, nothing. He just does this crazy font that he made up. And I was like, oh shit, you know, like you don't have to do all styles of tattooing to be a tattoo artist. You can sort of just have your own niche and focus on that. And at that time, like I said, like really all I had been doing was like graffiti and calligraphy. At the restaurants, we always had like specials boards with like whatever today's special was. I've got great handwriting and calligraphy skills, so I was always the guy to draw those. So I was thinking at the very least, like I can do what this guy does, you know, like I can do fonts, I can do little pictures like that. I don't know if I can do portraits. So it kind of opened my eyes up that, you know, you don't have to be like Stanley to be a tattoo artist. I could do this too. It's a skill I could learn.
It was when it like clicked because you're like, I don't need to draw faces perfect
Exactly.
and an image perfect. I can find my niche and it will work.
And focus on that. So I'm sitting there getting my hands and knuckles tattooed, and I'm like, man, if I wanted to, I'm talking to my artist, if I wanted to get involved in tattooing or get started doing this, like where would I start? And he laughed a little bit and was like, can you draw? And I told him everything I just told you guys, and he's like, oh, all right, man, we'll come by the shop whenever you want. I'll teach you. Like you can do exactly what I do. I just got to teach you. I was like, okay, bet. I don't think if he knew how serious I was when he said that, but I went home, I watched a shitload of YouTube videos on any equipment that you would need, ordered a bunch of stuff, and I was in his shop like 3 days a week, still working full-time in the restaurants, but I'd go down to his shop as much as I could and shadow him, watch him work, learn from him, go home, watch YouTube videos all night long on other people tattooing and them teaching. And I also had a crazy roommate at this time who would let me come home and practice on him. So I got a lot of my first shout out to Papo Taco.
Hey, you better give him a big shout out.
Shout out to you, bro.
I always
Thank you,
wanted
Kev.
that.
You owe him 20% for life.
He's got a nice leg sleeve. You know?
That's one thing with tattooing. It's like, man, I never, no offense, I'm like,
Yeah.
I never want to be that person's first
Right.
tattoo.
Yeah.
How many times have you done this? Like, first one,
Yeah.
fuck no, give me the other guy. I don't want it.
So
I
that
don't
was
want
my
it.
roommate Kevin, bro. Shout out to Kevin. The day that a package came in, right? It was like 2:00 in the morning. He had just gotten home from work from a shift, and there was a package at the front door. He brings it in. He goes, "Oh, Pete, you got a box." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like that's the tattoo ink. It's like the last thing that I needed to be able to actually do a tattoo. And so I opened it up. I pulled the ink out, and he's like, "Oh shit, what are we doing?" And I was like, "Ah, nah." You know, like I thought I was gonna practice on myself for a long time before I ever touched someone else. And he was like, "Nah, dude, fuck it. Like let's do it. I'm down. Let's do something."
Where do you have you doing that?
This was in my house at the time. We were
I mean,
literally
like
in
on
my
his
kitchen, on his thigh. So
Okay, that was smart.
We played on a paintball team together, Palm Beach Reckless. So we did Reckless right on his thigh, and you know, obviously not my best work, but for my very first tattoo, it honestly wasn't that bad. And then that was basically like our routine every night after that for a while.
How many tattoos did you torture this guy with? How many?
Hey,
did you
he was
give him?
voluntary, all right?
Yeah.
He was signing himself up for it, I
How many
swear.
did you give him? How many did you give him?
He's got an entire left leg covered. Yeah, a full left leg.
Pete's just slipping him shots at the bar. He's like, "You want to get a little drunk tonight,
Well,
don't you?"
He's having his friend bring a little something to sprinkle,
Yeah.
and Pete has nothing to fucking do with it. Not him.
No,
We
man.
didn't get to your sting yet, but I'll just.
So anyway, I get my hands and knuckles done. I start this little apprenticeship with my guy at Unforgettable Ink, and I'm in love with it right away. You know, like I'm very like obsessive. Also, when I get into something, I'm all in. Like you were saying earlier, like I'm no sleep. I'm just going home after work and working on this until I gotta go to work again the next day. And it was pretty quick. I realized like this is my route. This is what I want to do. And at the same time, you know, the restaurant world is sort of falling apart with COVID going on. And, you know, the pay structure at that time wasn't what I needed it to be at the restaurants. I had been on salary for the last 7 years. And as soon as COVID hit, we laid off all those people. All the managers got to keep their jobs, but we also all lost our salaries.
Oh.
And they were literally just paying us like what they could afford to pay us, which was usually like $300 a week or something.
So you're guessing what you're gonna get.
It was shitty, you know, and I hadn't been in that position in a really long time, and it didn't feel good. And without really knowing when that was going to come to an end, you know, I'm watching my savings dwindle, whatever savings that I had, and it wasn't a good feeling, you know, not being in control of my finances. And it really made me back to what we were saying earlier about go-getters. Like I think COVID was a big exposer for that, where you either became you got passionate about what you wanted to do and figured your shit out to get out of that hole, or you just like rolled over and were like, okay, this is my situation, I guess I'll take the free check, there's nothing I can do about it. And I think it really separated people. You know, the go-getters exposed themselves at that time, and
It vetted everybody.
Right. And so I wasn't happy with my situation, and I realized, I had built a huge network of people being in the restaurant business as long as I was. And
the bars.
Right. Being a manager of the place, I'm shaking hands with every person that comes in and getting to know people. So when I started doing this and, was at a point a few months in where I felt confident in the work I was doing, I had put in enough practice and, I was putting out good tattoos that I was proud of. Put it out on my social media is where I started, and it was almost immediate. I had left Lenora's because I wasn't, content with the pay, and I really wanted to dive full into this other thing. And, I got a little bartending job just in case, like, my books didn't fill up or it didn't take off as quickly as I needed to. And the first week of tattooing, I worked like 2 shifts at that bar job, and I never went back. It was literally full-time every day for the next 2 years after that. And
congratulations.
Thank you very much, man. I mean, it's been a blessing. I'm super grateful. A huge lifestyle change, going from working till 5 a.m. every night, drinking a lot, partying a lot, to now I make my own schedule. I work for myself, and I'm super grateful. I couldn't be happier.
Do you think art can be learned? Like, do you think it can be learned, or do you think you're born with it?
I think like that artistic, creative thing in your brain is more of something that you're born with, but to like the point of tattooing, I think that's a learned skill. Anyone can learn how to use the machine and how to tattoo. And
I should say like a face. Like, say you tattooed faces.
Right.
Like, we had a guy in that did Tyson and his wife, and then Tyson with Hawks. He did it in 3 hours, a 10 by 10.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, identical to Mike Tyson. I mean, perfect.
Right.
He had one of Gronk, Gronkowski.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was fucking Gronkowski. I didn't even realize he had done that one.
There's some people nuts.
I mean, he's that good.
Yeah.
Now, do you think on that level with like the whole fate, like he can just look and boom?
Right. I think that's where the natural part comes in.
You're born with you.
That's
have
what
that,
separates
right?
like, the average artist from the insane artist. Those people, I think, have a natural ability, and then they put in the work and the skill to learn how to master their craft.
But you can't. But like, if you can't do a face today, if you're horrible,
sure,
and you just don't have that talent, that's not a talent you can learn. Or
to a certain extent, I think over time, I think almost anything could be learned. Like for me now, I'm at a point where I do portraits. That thing that I thought was out of reach for me that I could never do, I do them now. And I think that is because of the background that I had in art and like the education that I got in art, and then having a good teacher to like teach me the fundamentals.
But then again, you were always into art from the beginning.
Right. So I think my progression in my tattoo career is super fast. Like the point that I'm at right now, being 2 years in, is, and not like tooting my own horn or anything, but it's not where most people are 2 years into their tattoo career. And I think that comes from having that background in art and having that different creative part of my brain that not everyone has. Can someone who doesn't have that do the same things? Yeah, I think it probably just takes you a lot longer, to practice those skills and hone them in, where it kind of comes to me a little more naturally.
See, I don't think you can. And I'm not an artist, so I have no room to talk.
I mean, Nick will probably say the same
opinion.
thing. He says it all the time. He doesn't have an artistic bone in his body. He can't draw a stick figure.
There's levels to it, though. So in my opinion, right, you're either shit at something, you're good at something, or you're amazing at something. The good people, in my opinion, are either the people who suck at it naturally and work really hard, or the people who are really good at naturally are just lazy. Mm-hmm. The really good people are the ones that put that two together,
right,
and they work really hard and are fire at it naturally. Mm-hmm. Now, Pete's way too humble, but Pete and what he's done in 2 years, we were at a night market a few weeks ago, and this girl came up and was talking to Pete, and I thought she was referencing, like, I want something like this somewhere else, right? I thought in my head, holy shit, that's a sick tattoo. And Pete turns around and goes, yeah, she got that like a month ago. And I was like, that was you? And again, he's so humble, he won't say that. But if you put those two ingredients together of just waking up every day and saying, I'm not content, I got to get better. I'm not content, I got to get better. Mm-hmm. Once in a while, taking that step back and saying, wow, I'm doing really good, right? So we write every single day gratitude list, which is basically saying, I'm already here, but I want this. I'm grateful for being here, but I'm grateful for wanting to be there. And so he checks himself every day, but when you put those two ingredients together of consistently waking up every single day and saying, I'm going to be better today, just a little percentage, just a little step. 2 years, he's one of the best tattoo artists in Palm Beach County, I'll say it.
I agree with you, but I don't think that anybody can just be a good construction owner. Like, you have to have that in you. You can't. I don't think you can be an artist like you are without having that in your genetics,
Sure.
DNA, whatever you want to call it. I don't see how it's possible because, again, we could put 100,000 people here.
Correct.
They are not going to break down what you just broke down to 30 minutes ago with that house. How am I going to put this in, this, that? Do you think just everybody has it? You can teach somebody that? You could teach him that and me that, and 3 days from now, I'm not going to know it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Your dad did it.
Yeah,
like, it's with you.
But I think there's different, like we talk about art. We're using a big thing of art. His is artwork in a home. That's his creative brain seeing the walls and doing this. Me for video, I have an art feel when I do movements off of objects and do, rack focuses and things like that. That's an art that's in my head. I could give it to somebody else, they won't do the same exact thing. Hairdressing, it's an art. You can teach someone to cut hair, but you see shitty haircuts all the time. You can teach someone to take video, and you see shitty videos. You can teach somebody to knock out walls and do this, and you see shitty jobs. So
now, where I do agree with you is if, like both you, like you're construction, you're tattoo. Okay, so now if you have that natural ability, which you both do, and then you put the right ingredients with it, then this is what
it's
you have.
exceptional. Yeah.
But if you don't have that initial, foundation that you were born with, one way or another, I don't see how it's possible. That's just my opinion.
No, I agree, and I think that's kind of the point that Nick was making. Is that's what separates people who are good at something from people who are great at something. When you put that natural ability with hard work and dedication, that's where you find people that are great at what they do.
Right, and then we have your website up.
Yeah, man.
Pete, so if you want to take us through this a little bit, some of your...
so if you want to click on the tattoos tab, that'll pull up some of my portfolio. I really do a lot of my posting on Instagram, like on a daily basis. That's where most of my communication is.
Look at that tattoo right there, top center. Holy shit.
I know that color, man. How did you pull that color like that?
Thank you.
Wild.
Thank you. It's a lot of, tattooing is a lot of like illusions and playing tricks on the eye, which that's where I feel like my like art education comes into play a lot. I find to the point we were saying earlier of like how much do you remember from school that you actually use on a daily basis?
Go back up, Rob. I want to see that. The fucking right there. That's you did faces. You did basically the
portraits
Egypt,
right there.
Egypt. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good stuff, man.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it.
I thought that I always think those little ones on the fingers, like the butterflies up top, with the color too. I would think that would be hell.
Hurt like crazy, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're doing portraits like perfectly, dude.
Thank you, man. But again, it shows that
my tiger's good.
Something that we say a lot all the time is like you're capable of a lot more than you probably give yourself credit for, but you really aren't going to know until you try. So like again, I went my whole life thinking this is out of my reach, but
go to his Instagram, Rob. It's the very next tab. And then Instagram is, we'll have all this in the description.
And this is probably the best way to get in touch with me as well. I do most of my bookings and stuff. So that's editing. I didn't tattoo the company.
That's cool, though. At least you admitted that. You could have been a jerk off and said, at least when you go there to get a tattoo, you're not going to bullshit them. I would have bullshitted. I would have said, hell yeah, I did that.
No. You got to be transparent in the tattoo world because, it's so that's the thing. That's where I feel like another thing that separates me, not just, having the artistic background, but having the experience that I got in the hospitality world is something that you don't really find in the tattoo industry. It can be a little bit of like a cold industry where, artists are really good at what they do. And again, I'm not saying this about every tattoo artist out there. I'm sure there's plenty of nice guys that treat their customers great. But more often than not, especially in the South Florida market, the tattoo shops that you walk into, for the most part, all look the same. It's just a big white box with a bunch of stations crammed together. And you don't usually get like a friendly hospitality customer service person to come talk to you. It's generally just a guy like, what do you want? And if you don't have like a picture prepared for what you want, like there's not a lot of guys that are drawing custom designs for you anymore that don't charge insane rates. The average shop that you walk into every day, you don't get like that personalized experience. And it can be a little bit intimidating, and getting a tattoo in general is already sort of intimidating because you're trusting a stranger to put something permanent on your body, so I never really understood that. And that's something that I really took serious when I got started in this, and having my own studio, I wanted to make it as comfortable of an experience as possible, and that's where my experience in hospitality has like played a huge role in and been super valuable because I kind of take pride in not only giving you great work, but giving you an experience that is, you know, memorable and positive, and the whole thing should be a full package, you know? Like, you should be able to get good art and also, like, have a good experience
have the hospitality.
and have a good time.
Yeah, it was a bomb move to mix in the hospitality that you learned over the years into your tattoo studio.
Thank you.
And then appointment only.
Right.
Me personally, that makes me feel like
You're the only, it's just me and you. You're the only one there.
That makes me feel more confident.
Right.
Right. I mean, wouldn't that make you? Is that why you did appointment only?
Absolutely.
To be the niche?
Yep.
So, what would you say? Because you grew so quick. What did you do? I understand you incorporated the hospitality, the art, this, that, the other. What was it that you did different from the other 700 tattoo shops around?
A big part of my success early on was my network, you know, having the relationships, and like it's something that we preach all the time is like always just being a good authentic person, you know, and fortunately in that industry, in the restaurant world, I kept my face clean. I had a good reputation, and I made a lot of relationships, shook a lot of hands, and met a lot of people. So always having the reputation for doing a good job in that industry, as funny as it sounds, carried over to tattooing. There's a handful of people when I first started that were like, yeah, man, I don't know, I just saw you do such a good job at everything you do. I figured you were going to be good at this, which sounds like insane when I'm putting something permanent on your body, but like, thank you. So a lot of it in the beginning was just relationships. I was fortunate that I had a huge network of people that I had built up over the years, and they had faith in me. And then it sort of snowballed from there. You know, you do good work, and people are literally walking around. Everyone wants to show off their new tattoo as long as it's done well, you know? So then...
Who did that?
Right.
I always
it's organic.
I always
you know?
ask it too. If I see one, I say, who did that?
Yeah.
Just
Right.
in case, you know.
100%.
So, you know, it grows really quick. As long as you're giving people a good experience and you're giving them good work, they want to go tell their friends. They want to show it off. So I just think being
both
authentic.
your past all lined up almost perfect.
I wouldn't change a single thing, man. You know, it wasn't always easy. It wasn't always good. But I wouldn't change any of it because it made me exactly who I am right now.
That's cool. Now, when did you two get close where you end up starting a podcast?
Right.
So take me through that. Like, did you reach out to Nick? Nick reached out to you?
So we had a lot of mutual friends in high school, like I said, but we sort of ran with different circles. I was doing bad shit, and Nick was like a good kid. And but we had a few mutual friends, and you know,
Nick just didn't get caught.
That's true. So
he's fucking Italian.
yeah,
Get
yeah,
everything
yeah.
straight. The fuck out.
So when everyone
So
went
that's the guy out there.
everyone went off to college,
joking,
and
just joking.
once a year we would sort of get together, like all the boys, and go get dinner or something, and like around the holidays when everyone comes home from school. And I don't know how many years ago it was, but one of these nights we all got together to go to dinner, and it was just kind of a mutual idea. I don't know who brought it up first, but I think I had expressed that I wanted to start a podcast. Nick had expressed that he wanted to start a podcast. And we just had like good chemistry together too. You know, we hit it off that night kind of. And the idea sort of like lived on for a few months after that, but I was still in the restaurant world at the time, and anyone that works in the restaurant world full time knows you don't have really much downtime, especially in the nightlife, because you're getting home at 6 a.m. and then like sleeping until your next shift. So there is no like hobbies or like other side shit that you do most of the time when you're in that world. And I think Nick was like grinding early in the construction business at that time too. So our schedules like just weren't really lining up. We had talked about the idea, but it sort of fell through for a while. And then
It was a tipsy, oh my God, we should, two sake bombs in, like, yeah, we should definitely do a podcast.
Yeah, right.
It didn't seem like anything that was going to come to fruition, you know?
And then, I don't know how much later, but, I start with my tattoo career. Now I'm making my own schedule. I'm working for myself. I've got the time. Nick is doing well in his career. He, has the time and the finances. And he just hit me up one day and was like, hey, man, look, I'm really serious about this. I really want to do it. I'm going to buy the stuff and set this all up. I'd love for you to be a part of it. And I was all in from that moment on. And what was that, 9 months ago?
You want to hold my hand?
it was
a process, Pete.
And now he's my best friend.
Now, initially, what were you thinking you were going to discuss and talk about initially?
I had wanted to talk about like the law of attraction and stuff because it's been such a huge part of my life.
What does that mean to you?
So in a nutshell, to put it super simple, it's like sort of like your thoughts become things, or also like karma maybe, where like the energy that you put out is what you get back, and it goes super deep, and to the point where, you know, like I write a gratitude list every day of, you know, the things that I want in my life, the goals that I have. There's a documentary out there called The Secret, and it's something that I saw in high school, and it really resonated with me.
I read that book.
It does a great job. So it actually goes a little further back than that. When I was like a kid, maybe 10 years old, in the car, I remember my dad listening to the audiobook of The Secret. And I didn't understand any of it back at that time or at that age. That it didn't resonate with me then. But I remember looking at the album art, or like the cover art for the book, and it was like this big red wax stamp. And then in high school, I'm like scrolling through Netflix one day, and the documentary is on Netflix, and I see that big red stamp. I was like, oh shit, that looks familiar. What is that? So I watched it, and it just resonated heavy, and I loved it. And so from early on in high school, I've been big on, you know, your thoughts become things, trying to, you know, focus on the positive and not dwell in the negative, and you can really manifest the life that you want with putting a lot of these practices into place. And one of those practices that I'm huge on is the gratitude list. So every day I start my day with a full page in my notebook of things that I'm grateful for, things that I want to manifest. I write them as if I already have them, which, you know, sometimes it's like a little hard for people to wrap their head around. You know, the word manifest gets thrown around a lot these days. And most of the time when people say it, they do like air quotes because it became like this foo-foo word, you know, like what you just meant, you wish you had $1 million and it comes. It's not necessarily how it works.
Or people think you're in rehab.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
One of the two.
So I
what's the fucking thing where you gotta like apologize to everybody?
I shouldn't. Yeah, what is the word for that?
It's like the 10 steps.
Right.
Like, you have to amends. Yeah, you have to make amends and shit.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, you get your chip. Fuck you, asshole. I ate it. I just did it for my white chip.
So yeah, I mean, I think when I had the idea early on of like wanting to do a podcast, a big thing that I wanted to share was like the law of attraction, but also like I thought it was cool to hear it from someone like me, you know, because everything that I had learned about the law of attraction and like in the documentary, The Secret, you got guys like Bob Proctor who are like super smart, really well spoken, but he's like a 70-year-old man, you know, like I can't really relate to that guy. But when you hear it from a kid covered in tattoos that used to sell drugs and went to jail and, you know, worked a restaurant job, that's relatable, you know, that's something that everyone that we know, you know, around our age can probably resonate with in some way.
Absolutely.
So I thought that would be the difference.
And it's one of those books like relating to the documentary.
Yeah.
You have to read it like 17 different times.
Yeah.
Like I would write it down because I knew how important it was. Yeah. That and Nicolaus Machiavelli. I would write it down to try to understand it because I knew it was the way of life and business, everything.
100%.
It really is.
Absolutely. And to your point, like I've watched that documentary maybe 500 times. Like there was a point in my life when I would wake up in the morning. It was actually when I was in Tallahassee right before getting in trouble. I would wake up every morning and just have it playing in the background instead of like the rap music or whatever I would usually listen to, just because it would get me in the right mental state, you know? It was good things to be putting into my brain. And but it takes that repetition because it is kind of a lot to process and understand, and
it's very complicated too.
It is. And it feels a little weird at first, you know. It's sort of like building a muscle. You have to practice it and do it for a long time for you to really feel like it's working. In the beginning, it feels weird. Just as weird as it sounds when I say it, it feels a little weird in the beginning. But if you stick with it and you start seeing the progress and the benefits, and it starts to like, holy shit, I did that, then it's like dangerous once you realize the power that you've got.
You guys got to read Nicolaus Machiavelli, The Prince.
Okay.
It's better than The Secret.
Okay.
That's why Tupac named himself Machiavelli.
Really?
We're readers now. Pete and I
yeah,
are
we
like
read now.
A couple old gentlemen just reading. We have a little book club.
Yeah.
No, but it was cool. You know, we had that conversation. It was like probably a year after, like shooting these texts back and forth. We got to do it, bro. We got to do it. Then, like I said, I sent him that text. I was like, yo, I bought the shit. I'm like a grand in. I'm doing it. I want you to be there. And the point really of the podcast is I'm a podcast listen guy. I just, as I work, I put my headphones in and kind of just in the background, and then I'll pick up notes. But all the podcasts I listen to are either famous people or people who done made it, or people that are outside my realm. I don't listen to any podcasts where there's a very direct sense of relatability. Where like, hey, I'm in my mid to late 20s. I've dealt with the thoughts of what's my purpose? What am I doing? Am I supposed to settle down or go out? Am I supposed to grind for money or am I supposed to have fun? You know, and so all these thoughts that go through our head, I really wanted to start to talk about out in the open and not just put an Instagram reel of all our successes in life, but really talk about all of our struggles. I think the millennial generation has such a hard time with anxiety and depression because we all think that the other people don't deal with the same bullshit we deal with, but they all do. We're all not so different. We're all a lot more alike than we think. We have insecurities, problems, thoughts that come to our head, and we're like, oh my God, this life sucks, bro. What am I doing? I'm literally just a blob of nothing. And so I wanted to start to talk about this stuff so people had this sense of I'm not alone. And if these guys are going through the same shit and they're doing fairly well in life, I'm going through the same shit as well. And again, I'm kind of walking in this path with them. I wanted to bring on people that were going down their lane, right? The guy who wants to be a rapper but isn't Lil Wayne yet, right? The guy who wants to be the biggest contractor in Palm Beach County but is not yet, right? I wanted to get the process. So when people are starting their process and they're dealing with the same shit that we're dealing with, right? They know that it's not a quitting point. It's a lesson learned and a step down that right direction. Yeah. So when they get these things that happen in their life, they're like, oh, Nick and Pete fucking dealt with that shit too. All right, I guess I'm not quitting. This is me, all right, you said 50 out of 200,000 are go-getters. This is me saying, listen, I think that number's more. I think you're right, factually right now, but I think that number's more, and I want to light that fucking fire in people, right? So that's my purpose in life. You know, when I lost that weight 10 years ago, I experienced this something that a small percentage of people experience in their life, which is I had this craziest fucking thought in my mind of Nick with abs, right? I was 240 pounds. I was a 35% body fat. I was close to type 2 diabetes. They couldn't even pull my blood because they couldn't get a vein in my arms. Were so fat. That's real shit, right? Yeah. I couldn't jump a fence. I'd never seen my collarbones before. All this shit coming in my head, I done felt. And so when I went through that process of, oh my God, you're truly able to do anything you want in life. Anything, dude. I was now the guy of my dreams, bro, physically. I want other people to experience that because there's no better feeling in the world than looking in the mirror and saying, you're a bad motherfucker. You did that. No money, no drug, no power of influence did that. You cultivated that by yourself, right? There's no entity in the world, or like I said, drug or alcohol that makes you feel that high of I put in hours, sweat, frustration, and this is why, and this is my product. So now it's my purpose to relay that to people to understand the fact of there's more to life. You are not just a 9 to 5. You are not just a brother or a sister, right? You have a purpose in this world. So now it's my job to fire that purpose within you. It's your job to get it done, but it's my job to maybe spark that wildfire to know that be more, do more, have fun, experience, right? But to go down that path of creating the life you want to create.
Like you said, a lot of it's anxiety. And Rogan had on Chris DeStefano. I think we'll have him in soon. He's a really good comedian. Yeah. But anxiety through the roof. Yeah. Through the roof. You know who he is? Yeah. Through the roof. And Rogan kind of laid into him because the guy's worried about like everything. He got a lot better. You know, really nice guy. This podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy. And Rogan said to him, do you realize your anxiety? And I had it. I was bad. It's all narcissist. And Chris, the guy, Chris, very respectable guy, says, well, what do you mean narcissist? Well, look what you're saying. I'm worried I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm worried, he had anxiety. I'm worried if I go on stage and I bomb, I'll never get hired again or whatever. And everything was I. I'm worried. I'm scared. How if this happens? How if that happened? Why did you do that to me? This, that, the other. And when you break it down, it's not narcissists like Matt Cox, who, you know, no, he'll come right here and tell you, yeah, I'm a narcissist.
Shout out
you
to
know.
Matt.
Yeah, right.
Matt Cox.
We just saw him Saturday. He wasn't actually a narcissist
No,
on
he's
Saturday. He
good.
was like a different Matt.
He got shorter though, I think.
Maybe that was
Short king.
yeah. But, you know, Matt Cox, now he's a narcissist.
Yeah.
He'll walk in and he'll say, yeah, I ratted on 20 people. I'm not doing 30 years.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have made more doing the fraud, and I could. And nothing you tell me is right. I'm better than you, and I have the answer for everything. But that's Matt. And, you know, I accept Matt for Matt, so I don't take it. You know, it's just Matt, and he's funny, and he's cool, you know. So when I'm saying narcissist with anxiety, I don't mean it like that. I just mean the I.
Yeah.
And I think Rogan is right. If that sinks in and you have a kids or a wife or a job and you stop with the I can't do it. What if I might go broke? I might have to eat ramen noodles. So fucking what?
Mm-hmm.
You might fail. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I.
But I think also like as the millennial and being on the upper hand of the millennial era is, you know, you're told by, you said like your parents, go to college, or this person, you got to do this or you got to do that. And I feel like everybody's life happens in different stages.
Correct.
I was a young dad. I was last year at college, have a kid. All my buddies are still drinking, still partying, right? And I got a kid. And now I look back, my kids are 15. I got a 12-year-old, and I call my buddies up and I hear screaming and crying babies in the background, and me and my wife are drinking beers, hanging out on the beach, and it's great. And you know, you look at it though,
Fuck off, asshole.
Yeah, but well, there you go. There's another one.
Mind you, I have a
and you look at it and you're like, well, you know, I could have maybe if I didn't have a kid, I could have. And it's all your thoughts, right? Oh, if I didn't have a kid early, well, I could have been more successful or saved up more money. And my buddies saved up all this money. Now they have kids. Now I'm getting in the better shape of my life. They're like 400 pounds overweight. You know, it's just, you look at it, it's all about stages in life. And are you happy?
yeah.
And if you're happy, and you know, I've considered myself successful from the way I grew up. You know, and my parents pushed me to be better than what they had it, and my goal is to push my kids to be better what I have, and that's always the goal. I think is to make your next generation better than the one before.
Correct.
But just be happy.
And the way you do that the best, though, is when you're your best self.
Mm-hmm.
And to the anxiety point, we just did a whole podcast on it, you know, in this past, and we'll dive into that, but in this past 6 months, I'm kind of changed everything back to where I'm in this good, confident, hardworking state in my life. For a while, you know, I battled with that. But the fact of it is anxiety in the rear view theory, I call it. I read a book called The 5-Minute Miracle. It's about a morning routine, but basically, if you drive down I-95 and you're staring in the rear view the whole time, you're going to get in a car crash in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So why are you living your life staring in the rear view? You're going to fucking have problems. What you could do ultimately is only the internal, meaning I wake up every single day and I have this to do, right? I take care of my wife. I take care of my house. I work out. I eat right. I control the controllables. Everything outside of that, I can't control. So why do I stress about that? But I'm confident about the external because I'm controlling everything I can control. Now, if you don't control your health, if you don't control your job, if you don't control your marriage or your happiness, then that external thought becomes so much more because you can't even control yourself. How the fuck are you going to control any problem?
That's what I mean. I. You're
That's
worried
it.
about that rear view mirror the whole time.
Yeah.
You're going to get hit.
You're going to get hit. And so when you focus on the controllables and you focus on the internal, that's what people don't understand. They think it's egotistical to focus and love yourself first. Actually,
You have to.
Actually, though, in reality, it's the most selfless thing to do because when you're the most happy, the most fulfilled, that's when you're the best friend. That's when you're the best podcast person. That's when you're the best father. That's when you cultivate the best life is when you're in a good space. Misery loves company. So if you're in a bad space,
that's for sure.
I'm going to put that energy and that shit on you. So focus on yourself. Make yourself happy. And in this past 6 months, my relationship's the best it's ever been. I'm making the most fucking money I've ever been. I'm the best contractor I've ever been. I'm the best brother. I'm the fittest. I'm the healthiest I've ever been.
Hey, Nick, go jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No.
Fuck, give me a little misery,
Yeah.
you fucker. I remember being miserable. Me and my friend Franco, we were just miserable. Miserable Italians, just pissed off all the time when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And whenever somebody was like walking around happy all the time, fucking hated him.
And
like he's smiling again. Fuck him.
I love you say that though, because for the last 4 years I was miserable.
Yeah.
I done felt it, right? And that's why I talk with so much passion right now, because this is real fucking shit.
Yeah.
And I got scars in my brain still from it, you know? So when I talk about this shit and I have this conviction and try to tell people to change, it's because I've seen both sides.
Well, both of you have.
Both have. And when you see the
Go
obvious...
through their Instagram a little bit. They got some good topics.
When you see the obvious back and forth, it's so easy to say, yo, change yourself, man.
And I think that's why we have such good chemistry together, because
Both
we
of
both
you
have that similar mentality.
You've both been through the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go to dad, call mom first, smooth it over. You got set up, stung, fucked. You know, that's for shit that's legal.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
get stuck in the hospital. All right, Pete.
Yep.
We're gonna pull up the Millennial Mentality.
Yep.
And yes, I did look to make sure I read it right.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
All right, so take us through this, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of what you see on our Instagram here is the clips that we've been posting, which has been actually huge for us. We've got a relatively small following, I would say, but like pretty local and engaged. And for the last 8 months or so, we had just been posting to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and pretty much only promoting it through Instagram. But a couple months ago at a Super Bowl party, someone that listens to the podcast brought up TikTok, which we had made a TikTok account, but really never like did anything with it. I think I posted maybe 3 things to it. They didn't pop off, so I never opened the app again.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up that one of our story. I told that same story of getting set up in the drug bust. And he's like, dude, that was a great story. You got to clip that and post it to TikTok. I have a feeling it'll blow up. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a good idea. All right, sure. So I went home that night, chopped the clip up, posted it to TikTok, and it got like something like 40 or 60,000 views like overnight, which is, if you added up every view that we had on everything, every platform,
combined,
that was way more than any views that we had.
Go to the next tab, Rob.
Yep.
So that being said, we saw success with that. Yeah.
Next one after that, the TikTok. Which one was this here?
So it's probably all the way back in the beginning, because it was like the first clip that we posted.
Look at that face.
But
yeah,
we doubled down. You know, we saw a huge shoot in growth.
23,000 right there.
So I think that the drug bust clip that I was saying has like 250,000 now, which is definitely our biggest. But we average, on average, it's like 2,000 views, and then we'll have one pop off like once a week that goes, a couple 10,000, whatever.
91,000.
Yeah, and so every time we have one of these blow up, it translates over to the other platforms, which I was sort of surprised on. We get a few bumps in subscribers, we get a few followers on Instagram, so we've really like kind of doubled down on TikTok. And
do you use that For You shit?
What's that?
Pound For You For You page?
Yeah, totally.
I don't
know if it works or not.
I don't know technology.
Yeah,
I got.
I don't know if it works or makes a difference, but they say to do it, so I do it.
I don't know. Sean Green, he's choreographer for a bunch of like heavy hitters. He says it used to work, it doesn't work anymore. It's kind of faded out.
Yeah, the algorithm changes all the time. Apparently.
What have we heard with the guys that have like 30 million followers?
I think it's changed now.
Yeah, it's not like it used to be the way to go.
100%.
And then, but we had another guy in. He had tens of millions, and he said the further you put it up, like in the title thing, like so if you put like the Millennial Podcast, whatever, right there you put For You and then something else.
Oh, so like if it's at the end, it doesn't hit as hard?
I mean, I don't know if that's accurate.
Right.
I mean, the guy's got a gazillion followers and views, but he's also got.
Are you guys not on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Do you guys do well?
We do like 50 to 100,000 views,
Yeah.
and I don't know, 30, 40, 50,000 likes.
Mhm.
But not like there's millions and millions of
Right.
shit. But I think TikTok's like you hit,
Right.
and who knows who the fuck's controlling that?
We got a runner once a week. Pete's a night owl. I'm a grandpa 9 p.m. or
Yeah.
guy. And this is a late night for me, but I love it. What I'm getting at is Pete stays up till like 2 or 3 every night. But like once a week I'll get a text. We got a runner.
Yeah, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'll pop up out of bed like Christmas. I'm like half asleep, like scrolling. I'm like, yeah. But that's what I love. Like we're at. Like I said, a business is your baby, and I treat this like a business, our podcast. And we're at the infant stages still, and I know that. But the fact that we haven't made $1 off of it, we've probably put.
Get used to that for a while.
Yeah. But I don't want. But here's the cool thing. We literally joked about it the other day because this is like a hobby for us. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, Pete, wouldn't it be crazy one day if we could actually make money off of this? Because I've gone so much into the love for actually doing it that like it goes away.
Yeah.
And from what I hear is like that's when the money flows in on the back end, is when you simply just love doing it, you know? And what's cool for us is what you see on camera and what you see off camera are the exact same fucking person, you know? And I think when people see us out and they see like, oh, these guys are, you know, like, because I think a lot of people online too, they have this front. And then when you meet them in real life, you're like, well, that's not who I thought it was. I still use the same funny voices. I'm still a quirky guy in real life. You know, I could still have deep-ass conversations with you, though, too. So it's cool when we go out and we're able to kind of show that to the people who watch us, you know, because it's sick.
Go back to the other tab where, and this is everywhere the podcast is available, right? You're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, merchandise, Instagram, TikTok. Click on the merchandise.
So yeah, that'll bring you back to petepasso.com.
Yeah, to your page, yeah.
Do we have
I slowed it up.
on this?
Yeah, so this is our last drop, which we still have in stock, but we also just came out with a new line, which will be Dick Slinger. Yeah, Dick Slinger. That was our best seller, actually.
I bet it is. I was just gonna say, I bet that's the.
You know what cougar water is?
Cougar water?
Yeah.
MILF with a really wet pussy.
Close.
That is a
Michelob Ultra.
We call that cougar water.
Because if you're at a bar, you ever see like a cougar at the bar, she's probably chain smoking cigarettes and pounding a Mick Ultra.
Yeah.
It's either a Mick Ultra or a Corona Light.
Right.
Always in a
Exactly.
bottle.
With the line,
Always in a bottle.
Always in
Never
a bottle.
draft.
Always in a bottle.
Yeah.
Or if it's a redneck, it's the Miller High Life.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Classy.
And it's only in a bottle because they're like a classy bitch. You know?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, bougie.
Doesn't drink the draft. It's only bottle. You know.
I'm glad we're all on the same page.
We have a shirt that we put out. So really weird. One night Pete sends me late on an Instagram message this meme that says 3 inches feels like 9 when you're in love.
This has to go on a T-shirt.
And sometimes Pete says things to me that I think are like aimed at me, but like he sends them. So why else would you send that to a friend, right? That made him think of me. That's not a good thing.
I felt like
you
you'd
know?
appreciate this.
So I look at it, and again, this is who I am in real life. I was like, fuck it, we're putting it on a shirt. And we literally made it a shirt, and it's the best. So, but that's who we are, and that's why we love doing this, because it's just awesome. We get to meet people, talk, and I don't know, live more, and I think that's the coolest part.
Yeah.
And then you guys want to expand into more guests coming in that kind of went through what you went through, both of you went through,
Correct.
where, you know, whether it's a true crime type of thing, went to jail for a long period of time, got out, didn't let that get them down where they go right back to the same stuff because, you know, our system's so perfect. Sure. You want more of them on it, other guests to get the message out, right?
For the same reason that like we felt like we would be relatable, I think that's kind of what we look for in guests. Someone that, you know, hasn't necessarily made it yet, but is on that path. Go-getters, especially, even as few and far between as we are, we try to seek them out and let them share that same story of all the failures and hard shit that they went through and where they are now, so that, you know, again, like the people listening can see, fuck, if this person can do it, and a lot of hopefully some of those problems they can relate to and realize they're not the only ones that deal with it. All these people who are out living their lives that they love had to go through that shit too, and you can do the same thing.
Like someone who's on the cuff of ready to go.
Right.
The next
and
door
then
that
you just give
opens,
the kick.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I see.
that next door that opens where a lot of people are like, fuck it, I'm jumping off the cliff, and I'm like, I quit. That next door that opens is the opening, you know, and one of these guys went through it and one of these guys didn't, and we're trying to tell them to be like, just keep going. Just go to do it tomorrow, then do it the next day. I mean, we literally have a local rapper, Naro, on, who is working a serving job full-time, paying money for studio time full-time, right? He is the story of, like, the Jack Harlow, but still in present day. So to me, that's beauty, because that's the process. And it's funny because these rappers and these famous people always say the days I love the most are the days when I was working a job full-time and when I was doing this full-time, because they were strictly doing it for the passion, and that was their baby.
Yeah,
you know?
It wasn't a board telling them what to do.
Correct.
Or a manager or whatever it may be. You know, so Dr. Phil, Nick, you know, what would you say, you know, when you're as busy as you are in a relationship and, you know, perfect here, you know, what advice would you give on your podcast and here, you know, in a relationship, when, in all seriousness, when you're running a construction company, a tattoo private thing, which is a whole another ball game because you got to vet with that stuff.
Yeah.
And all that busyness plus all the promotion of your initial businesses that are paying for the podcast. How do you manage that in a relationship?
I think relationships, this is going to suck super.
And I'm not saying
no.
Just saying him because he brought up.
No, sure.
This is going to Dr. Phil the hell out of it. But I think there's 3 pillars to it. No, but I think rule number 1 is always respect. And respect on the good days, respect on the bad days. I've never raised my voice to my fiance once in my life. I don't believe in that. I think words have weight. And I'm a sensitive bitch on the backside because when words affect me too, you know, and when someone says some shit that I love, I do get cut deep by it. So it's a learning curve for her with that because sometimes she's reacted along emotions and I'm like, dude, just sit down, let's have a conversation and work it out. Number 1 is always respect. Number 2 is continuously dating your partner. You know, so like, I always remind myself, even on the bad days, like that feeling after our first date. It's gonna sound super fucking corny, but like when I was like, dude, this is it. This is the one. Like I called my ma and I said, Ma, I don't know what love. I sound like a little Italian meatball right now. Ma, I don't know what love feels like, but what I feel right now is some shit I never felt before in my life. So I don't want that to stop. So on my days where I'm like, you know, we've been living together for 3 years and you're kind of going through the motions, I'm like, no, I want to get sexy tonight. I want to take you to dinner. I'm going to bring home flowers. I want to like role play like this is our first date. You know, I want the sexy time on the back end. I want the fun, us loving time on the front end. We're going to put the phones away. Like,
so how do you manage your business to have the time to go to dinner?
I stopped 6 months ago when my happiness really started. The go with the flow vibe, that's a go with the shit show vibe. Because to me, you have to have structure to your life. Yeah. If you want to be successful in every pillar of your life, you can't be like, well, I'm going to go to the gym 2 times this week and I'll go to the bar 2 times this week and we'll call it balance. Like, no, that's not structure to your life. Structure to your life is, I'm going to the gym 7 days this week. Structure to your life is, okay, with that, I'm going to go to the gym at 7 a.m. So I got to tell my wife it's 7 a.m. I got to tell my friends, if you hit me up at 7 a.m., where am I going to be? Boom, they know that. So they stop asking me. The less no's I got to make. From there, you structure in your business time. So my fiance knows that basically when I get home from 5 o'clock every day, from 5 to 7 is usually when do I do emails and accounting. And like, if I'm in the computer, know that it's me not necessarily wanting to work because I want to spend time with you, but it's me trying to build a family and a future of prosperous and success. And if I don't put these 2 hours in, I got to, right? And she loves that part of me. And then, you know, when we lay down in bed every night, we put the phones away, we watch something sometimes, but we just spend time with one another. And I think people either get too caught up in their own lives to remember to date, or I feel like people just get monotonous and it becomes their friend. Like that's just a friend, and then...
Well, where are you pulling from? You have to pull from somewhere. If you're doing construction all day, trying to build a podcast the best you can, where are you taking from to get that 2 hours with no phone?
I guess
it has to pull from somewhere.
I guess you could say my social life. Yeah, I mean, for the last 72 days straight, I've been going to bed at 9:30, 10 every single night. I wake up at 6 every morning. I would drink a gallon of water. I work out twice a day. I mean, we're structured to a point of I'm sending a no text back, not even based off of any emotion I felt. Like my boys are going out to Sunday brunch. I'm not working Sunday. Memorial Day is yesterday. I had that off, right? I would love to go rip a brunch, but that's not what I actually want. So it's almost like I'm on the cusp of a new chapter now in my book in my life, where it's like, I guess to answer your question, it would say social life. But to me now, this is the life I want to live. Mm-hmm. Why do I want to go out and get fucked up with my boys on a Sunday brunch, which is going to affect my business?
That sounds like our boy Homer.
Yeah, like, but you want to talk about...
guy goes to lunch every day.
Yeah, but you got like 5 pillars, right? Why are you going to take 1 from 5 and affect the other 4? The next day I'm not going to the gym after brunch. The next day I'm hungover, I'm eating like shit. I'm not drinking my water. I'm not doing the thing. I'm not doing my business, right? I'm just being there stupid and hungover. So it's a different chapter in my life, you know? I want to be able to the point where I am a dad like Rob. I got my shit where I don't want to be going out with my boys Saturday night. I want to be home with my kid, you know? And so to answer your question, I guess it would be social life, but I'm the happiest I've been in 4 years. So I guess it was my internal being saying your social life needed to slow down, you know?
And you also, it sounds like you have a wife that understands.
She knows. Ultimately, I feel like we all initially know the type of partner we have, and she knows what she signed up for.
Oh, that's bullshit. Oh no, that's bullshit. I'm older than you, buddy. No, that's bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Were you fighting your gut though, or did your gut tell you that it was the right decision fully, and then on the back end you realized it was?
My gut told me it was the right decision.
Really?
Fully, yeah, yeah.
Because I've never, and I don't believe I'm not going to. I think I will eventually in life. Everyone does, but I've never, as far as people being off on like a personal calendar, my gut's usually always right. Not meaning that I haven't trusted my gut, because I haven't at some points, but typically I'm like in the back of my head I get vibes, and so for you there was no vibes there across the board. It was
Of like negativity?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No, there wasn't.
And then out of just nowhere, it came to life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just, I think in that particular situation, I think it was a lot of other things from before that maybe were held in that then came out, not in a negative way. It just changed her, who she was. You know what I mean? How do you manage your time?
Well, similar to Nick, when he started making all these changes in his life, it inspired me a bit, and I wanted to get structured as well. So I would say, getting a routine that is manageable for yourself. Like what you just said was great, but not everyone wants to work out 7 days a week or wake up at 7 a.m. It may not be necessary for your goals. So like, for example, Nick's been on 75 Hard, which a lot of people are familiar with that program, but it's, will you say what the 5 things are?
75 Hard is...
Pull up 75 Hard, Rob, when you have a chance.
Do you know what 75... Yeah, so 75 Hard is it's not even a challenge. It's a lifestyle change in which the creator of it, Andy Frisella, put it together because he found that all these challenges were there for a second then gone. You lose 15 pounds and you put it back on, or your business is good for 15 days and it's not. And he's like, I want to do something in which people build the muscle to build any talent they want, right? Because in the end of the day, discipline is going to cultivate anything in your life, whether it's social or work or anything. So he created 75 Hard as a simple thing to do every day, but there's no deviation from it at all. For 75 straight days, you have to do 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each. One has to be outside. So a walk, a run, a bike ride, a CrossFit workout outside, anything like that. One of them has to be 45 minutes inside. 1 second under 45 minutes, you lose the day, you start back from front. Drink a gallon of water a day. You got to read 10 pages from a physical book a day of self-help. Nonfiction, yep. And then no cheat meals and no alcohol for 75 straight days. So you wake up and you have a to-do list with no deviation every single day for 75 days. And if that don't put structure to your life and you actually do it, then I don't know what the fuck will.
What was the hardest part about those 5 things?
Giving in to listening to your
Oh, right there. Okay, mental toughness,
correct.
Mental fortitude, confidence, self-esteem, self-worth, self-belief, grit.
All that comes down to self-love. That's that whole right. It's just respect for yourself, and that's what life boils down to. Is like, how can I convince something to have a love and conviction in me if I don't love and have conviction in myself? How are you going to believe me if I don't even believe what the fuck's coming out of my mouth?
Yeah, sure.
And I think 75 Hard's a great program. And I this time around didn't do it with Nick, but I decided next time Nick does it, I'm going to do it with him. But I think also for people who feel like they need to make a change in their life right now, but then look at this and go, ooh, that's a little extreme for me. I don't know if I'm not ready to do those things yet. The same concept can be applied in a different way. And so that's sort of what I did this time around. When Nick started 75 Hard, I created 75 Soft for myself, where it was basically like the same outline where you take each one of those principles, but I sort of catered it to my own personal goals. And,
so how'd you cater it? How'd you make it up?
For me, a gratitude list is a fundamental part of my life. I know I've gone through slumps. As much as I believe in the law of attraction and have been passionate about it for such a long time, I go through slumps, where I, for months, won't write, and I see how it affects my life. So, and I'm doing my best always when I'm writing those gratitude lists every day and visualizing every day. So that was the fundamental one, is write a gratitude list every day. I think I've been chronically dehydrated for years, so drink a gallon of water every day. Take vitamins and supplements every day. work out every day, but again, it's not 2 45-minute workouts, one being outside, because I've got like an insane metabolism where my body can't hold on to
You can
fat.
eat like 40 chocolate chip.
Nothing.
not
I
gain a
can't
pound.
gain weight if I try, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know that 2 45-minute workouts outside.
I don't know if I'll see you if you do that. You come in, what the fucking.
But exercise every day.
Wish I had that gene.
it's good for your brain. It's good for a lot of things, and so still working out every day. I think that and reading. So I said it 1 page of a book per day, which seems really like a easy task to do. But the other thought that I had when I was creating this outline was, I think I've seen a lot of people do 75 hard, and it's so extreme for some people's lifestyle that I think even if they do complete the challenge, which I think most people that do the program don't complete it. But even the ones that do, they're so ready to break those habits on that 76th day because they're tired of doing the shit that then they go off the rails, and they throw their diet away. They don't work out for a week because they feel they deserve a week off, and they never really get back into that routine because they couldn't wait for the program to be over. So I wanted to create something for myself where it was catered to my lifestyle and to my goals, so that when that 75th day is up, I hopefully on the 76th day just wake up naturally and do the exact same shit, because now it's a routine and a lifestyle that I can stick with. It's sustainable.
You wanted to create it where it's in your reality and in your reality of possible accomplishments, right?
And something I could keep hopefully forever, habits that in 75 days, it will be a routine and a habit. And then there will be no reason for me to stop it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I can see how that would be applied, not just to weight loss, just to really fucking anything.
That's something they emphasize, is that it's not a weight loss challenge.
Right.
It's not a challenge at all. It's just a program for an optimal lifestyle.
And me, I would call that, like, my personal thing, a hobby. Like I always say, you have to have a hobby in your life. You can work and work and work and work and work and work and work. You have to have a hobby. Mm-hmm. And if that hobby's a half an hour a day, you have to have something to take your mind away from stuff, whether it's sitting in a sauna or, going to the gym, playing the piano, doodling on paper.
Mental reset.
Yeah.
Something that we say a lot is creating tasks. Like, that's the other thing about having like this list of things that you have to complete every day that you can't deviate from. It creates discipline where you know that every day, no matter what happens, you have to get these things done. And, practicing that every day, it builds some sort of muscle, a discipline muscle in your brain that then makes all the other shit that you have to do every day a lot easier. The other tasks or the other problems that arise. It's sort of like that thing that you hear people say all the time, like make your bed every day, because it's a task that that you don't want to do. No one will even know if you did it or not, most likely, but you'll know you did it. And you start your day off by doing the right thing and making the right choice, and it snowballs for the rest of the day. And that's why I'm big on like the gratitude list at the beginning of the day, because I start my day with gratitude, and I'm identifying gratitude everywhere I go every day. And having any sort of list, whether gratitude's involved or not, having tasks every day that you need to complete without any deviation builds that discipline muscle, and then that translates to so many other things in your life.
Structure.
Right.
Structure is the foundation of everything.
Well, back in the day when when I was growing up, me and Rob, you guys were a little bit younger. But, if you kept screwing around, guess where your ass was going? The military.
Yeah.
And your ass came back and you were straight.
Right.
That bed was made. You walked right. But now, I mean, depending on which one you go into, they got fucking timeout cards. We got to kill Rourke, our friend John Rourke. He was in the Army, and they do. They're not called timeout cards. They're called
take a break, man.
Take a break.
No,
Yeah, you put a thing up.
What's that mean?
So I'm your drill sergeant, right?
Yeah.
Pete, give me 50, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anything, the worst thing I could ever say about you, and you can just sit up and go, I need a timeout.
Come on.
Right, Rob? We pulled it up and everything.
That's real.
Wow.
It's real. Not in the Marines. It's in parts of the Army. I don't know exactly. I'm sure that the fucking Bronze Stars don't have fucking timeout cards, but the ones that run up the hill to see if the guns are over top, to let the Marines know, hey, there's guns up there. You guys stay down here, and whoever makes it back.
Correct.
Those guys have the timeout cards. Maybe because they, you would think they would probably do that to a lower one, because if you're gonna have them run up the fucking hill and see if there's fucking grenades coming and shit, not gonna say timeout to the grenade.
Correct.
Right? What the fuck is that, Rob? Can you explain that to me?
Just what you said. I mean,
like, what the fuck are you gonna do when you're in war?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Shit. I mean, look, fucking real close now.
It's And to that last point, it's like the muscle that creates everything, but no one talks about is discipline. And no one thinks that's a muscle. Everyone thinks like, oh, that guy is doing successful. He was born with that.
Right.
That's something he was born with, is that discipline.
Yeah, right.
That's just who he is. No, motherfucker, no one has
he got his
discipline.
ass kicked when he was
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up, usually.
All right, or he had to suffer that bad to change his life. Like I had to look in the mirror every day and say, "You fat fuck, you fat fuck." You and how much does that hurt? Well, you gotta say this change is so scary, but that's gonna hurt less than where I hurt now. So I gotta make it.
And I always say kids strive or want, I guess, want structure in their lives. They want discipline. You see that all the time. You see kids that, disrespectful to their parents, screaming, cursing, yelling when they're little kids. And the mom, oh, it's okay. And they get them this and get them that. And then you get the grandfather that comes in, or the nanny in some cases, and they put the discipline into that kid, and that kid is more attached to that person who gave them structure and gave them discipline than the one who's just like, do whatever you want.
Yeah, they hate you at first.
Correct.
But later when they realize what your point was,
They strive for it. Yeah.
Discipline is love. For some reason, discipline has a negative connotation.
well,
But-
that's now. It didn't used to be. It's this
Correct.
fucking,
Yeah.
I still get confused and get killed. Which movement is this before I get killed?
No, it's just
75 hard, you know?
I don't know. It's not.
No,
not the Me Too. You always.
I always say it's the
not
Me Too
No,
movement.
that's-
Oh.
no, not
What
that
the
one.
hell? The
It's
millennials movement?
Just,
I don't know.
no, millennials always get a damn bad rap.
No, it is. We do get crushed.
I don't know what the fucking millennial. I
That's
guess
why
it's
we
the
put
younger
the,
generation.
I think
I
you're
believe-
just out of the millennial.
I think
I'm
the-
there still.
Millennials 88 to 99,
Yeah.
I believe. A year 1988 to 1999.
Yeah.
So you're a millennial?
I'm 85, but I'm on the cusp.
Yeah, he's like a transformative guy. Yeah.
You can identify as whatever you want.
That's right. If someone's making fun of millennials, he's like, "Fuck those kids."
Fuck those guys.
Whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When social media came about, where you could start posting every little thing, and that's when like the whole trophy thing happened, and everybody gets a trophy, whatever you do in your own home, whatever you're doing. What the hell is that?
There you go. So it says.
Oh, that's not right.
Gen Y.
I told you.
That's right.
81 and 94.
What is that? There's 2 years there.
And 40 years old.
So we can identify as whatever the fuck we want to.
Gen Y is 25 to 29.
Hey Nick,
What?
you're wrong.
What is this source? Casasa?
Wrong.
What is that source?
Wrong.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Is it-
It's at the top of Google with no ad.
Oh, I don't
Wrong.
trust that guy. I do not trust that guy.
Okay.
You gonna trust that guy?
Sure. We'll pull up some more. You don't trust Wikipedia?
Oh, Wikipedia.
Here we go. Millennials.
That's a
Also
real
known as
81 to
Generation Y or
There's real ones and fake
Why
ones.
are the
Oh.
Democrat court falling?
Nick.
We got to name the podcast something different now.
Nick is wrong.
90s.
The millennial.
Tommy, we gotta cut this out. We gotta fucking. I'm not gonna be the Gen Y podcast.
Mentality.
Excuse me. One at a time. Rob would like to read something to you, Nick. Go ahead, Rob.
If you would like to identify as a millennial, you can, I guess.
It's a facto.
What the fuck, Rob?
As
Thank you, Rob. That's a W.
Rob.
search engine department to use 1980s as starting birth year. So 1980s, you're good.
Yes, sir.
To 2000. So, but I'm on the higher end of the millennial spectrum.
Yeah. You're daddy millennial.
And then it goes down until we reach the 2000s, or late 90s.
You're
then-
still wrong. It says 81 to 96.
I don't see that.
Wrong.
What year were you born, Nick?
What?
What year were you born?
95. You're 94.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Then. He's
Yeah.
good. He's still in there.
Yeah, we
He's
good.
still millennial.
Yeah, but his back number. So I am too, because I was 82. Wrong.
Oh, shit. Welcome to the club.
Smoked. I just got fucking smoked.
Smoke.
Yeah.
I wanted to
This
get
is
a
rare. We're gonna clip
I was
this.
just about to do that. Nah.
God damn it.
but
I'm not changing the name. Now we're fucking millennials. You know?
That's why we put the question
There's
marks
no
in there.
Now it's proven, and you were also proven wrong.
Oh, man.
One thing I saw one. I want both your answers because I think it's one of probably the biggest things with the anxiety that went through the roof with COVID and depression, and suicides. Jesus, you see that numbers? The numbers. Insecurity. I see a lot of that. I had it myself. I was very insecure. Even I had a lot of money. I had a lot, but deep down I was insecure. What you had a podcast about that. What was a message from you that you were trying to get out about that? And then the same for you.
Yeah.
Sure. I think through the changes that I've made in the last few months, thanks to Nick and this program that we've been on, and realizing the discipline being a muscle that you can work every day, and confidence kind of going hand in hand with that discipline. When you know that you, for however many days in a row, said you were going to do something and you follow through on it, that's where it comes from. The confidence comes from saying you're going to do something and then following through and doing it. Because I think there's a lot of people out there that talk a big game but then don't act on it. And the confidence that you gain from for keeping your word with yourself, and being disciplined enough to act on the things that you say you'll do, builds that confidence. And when you've got that confidence, the insecurities kind of fall to the wayside because you realize how little most of them matter, actually. And when all these other things are firing for you in the right way, you're not dwelling on the dumb shit.
Yeah, but how do you get over the insecurity?
I guess give me an example. Like,
okay, if I'm going on a date, right? I'm going on a date with a girl. I don't think I have a shot. I don't even know why I'm there, right? But she's all over me. She's calling me 100 times. But deep down, I'm insecure. I'm going to put on that face and clothes and pretend I can act. How are you going to get me over that insecurity?
Well, I guess at the end of the day, you kind of got to realize with yourself, you're at that table on that date with that girl for a reason. And if she's not into you, then I guess you guys will figure that out. And you'll go from there, and you guys won't go on a second date, or you hit it off because she likes you. You just got to be authentic, and then people are either going to accept you for your being or who you are, or they're not, and those people don't fuck with you. So
kind of like, what's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
You got to keep pounding that.
That
in your
insecurity
head, right?
comes back from caring about what other people think about you, and that you can't, man. It doesn't fucking matter.
That's another big fucking problem in this world. Everybody's worried about what everybody else thinks.
Shit doesn't matter. And if you've got the confidence from, find out what's important to you, and work towards those goals every day, and who's going to fucking phase you, How can you tell me I'm not the shit when I said I was going to do this, this, and this, and I'm acting on my life, What you think about whatever the fuck you think of my appearance, my whatever, what can you say? I'm not phased because I act on the things that I say I'm going to do, and I follow through on the things I say I'm going to do.
Nick should be your first guest, so he can admit when he's wrong.
Nick, you got anything to say about that?
I think that insecurity is something that I made a comparison on a podcast we posted lately, but you got two voices in your head, right? I called it the devil and the angel, or the boss and the bitch voice, right? In this instance, I'll use a boss and a bitch voice.
Funny, I call it the drill sergeant.
Yeah,
me.
Yeah. And ultimately, in your life, you're gonna find that one voice dominates the other. So I'm gonna set 2 alarms for the gym at 6 a.m. tomorrow, right? 6 a.m. pops around, my alarm comes off. My first initial reaction is, I got shitty sleep last night, and hit snooze. Boom, you'll do it tomorrow, right? That's the bitch voice. The boss voice is rolling over saying, I didn't get good sleep tonight. I'm fucking pissed, but we're still rolling to the gym because we committed to that. And in life, if you want to talk about having that self-respect and confidence and self-love, like even to your example of, I'm going on this date, I got everything from the external. I got a car, I got a big house, I got the job, I got all this shit. But internally, I fucking hate myself. So internally, I'm not happy. So the external is what you're living for, and the internal is what's not there. But when the internal is there and the external is not what you're living for, you're happy. How do you not care about people's opinions? Because you know you work every fucking day to be the best person you could be. You're nice to people. You're grateful. You give back to your community. You work hard. You're a good father. You're a good husband. You're responsible. You don't cheat. You know from your bones you're a good person. How does someone look at me when I'm in the gym 7 days a week and go, wow, he's fat? I'm going to laugh. Right? There's no fucking way, bro. Or, wow, he's a horrible husband. How are you going to say that? So either A, the opinion is going to be so stupid that I'm going to either laugh at it or not even listen to it, or B, it's going to happen, and I'm going to say, listen, if I said right now you have blonde hair, what are you going to say to me? No chance, right?
I don't know. With you, it depends.
Yeah. But if I say that to you, right?
It depends on how long I got to deal with you. If it's going to be this whole ADHD thing about the blonde hair, yes, it's blonde.
Is it actually?
No. Fuck, you almost got me that. He's good. That was a good straight.
Thank you.
Hey, that was a good straight face.
I almost believed in myself.
I'll give you that. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank
That
you.
was really good, actually.
But it's ultimately doing hard
Wow.
shit
That was
every
good.
single day. It's just waking up and doing hard shit every day. So back to that structure thing, it's like if you don't wake up every day and do something that's going to make you a little uncomfortable, a little happy, a little grateful for having that rest in your day, then you're not going to be happy. So how do you beat down insecurities, which is just a cousin of the devil? It's a devil in a different form saying you look fat today, or you're not working hard, or you're not enough for your partner. It's saying I'm doing everything the day that I can. So I don't care if I look in the mirror and I'm not what I think would be hot, right? But bro, you went to the gym today. You drank water today. You ate good food today. What the fuck else can you do, man? So that's how you kick those voices out of your head. You say, I'm working so hard. Shut up. And that's how you shut them up, right? And ultimately, day after day after day, I say it all the time, but I'm step by step. All I focused on today is today, right? You want to talk about anxiety? Start focusing on the future. You got 70,000 thoughts in your head a day. Multiply that times the next 30 days. That's a lot of thoughts. But if you focus on today, I got 7 critical tasks. I got to work hard. I got to take care of my wife, and that's it. That's all I got to care about. So
Took me 35 years.
It's
I would go
hard.
down and look at, I had a Bentley and a Lamborghini. I'll never forget it. I walked down to my garage and I go, what the fuck? Why am I fucking miserable? And it literally took me 35 to around 35, 36. I was like, because I didn't love me.
Yeah.
And then once I realized that, I changed some things, and now I feel different. Now, I mean, fuck a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
What'd you have to change?
That's a good
Well, I had to accept that.
Mhm.
I had to accept that I didn't love me. Because I'm telling myself I love me. Fuck, I got a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I got a Bentley. I got a bank account. I got this. Fuck, of course I love me. So I wouldn't allow myself to accept the fact that maybe I don't love me for whatever reason. Maybe shit I did in the past. Whatever the fuck, right?
Mhm.
But I would block that out. So whenever something like that would be, block it out. Boom. Nope, not me. Something's wrong. It's this person or that. It was always somebody else. And then for whatever reason, at like 36, actually, I think when Kobe Bryant died, I was a big fan of Kobe Bryant. I used to go out and see him all the time. And I was a big fan because he worked really, really hard and never gave up. And we had season tickets there. I'd fly from Pennsylvania there when I could. Missed a lot of games, but we had good seats. And we would go to the Lexus box. And I said this before, but if he missed a 3 throw or 4 of them in a game, there was one double overtime game with James Harden when he was playing with Oklahoma. He hit a 3, double overtime. He played like 49 minutes. 2 hours later, Kobe Bryant is still shooting. The game's over. Everybody went to the locker room. You go up to the lounge up top at the Staples Center, have a drink, eat whatever you want. Kobe is out there shooting foul shots because he missed those 4. And then, like if he missed a certain 3, we go up and have dinner, and I look out there, I'm like, God damn. And that same spot where he missed, because I would watch real close as a fan, he would sit there for 2 hours, 3 hours. We would leave sometimes, and he'd still be there after that game, and they have a game the next day.
Yeah.
And when I saw that really, man, that made me a huge fan. Even I was a huge fan before, but just that fucking dedication, because he didn't have the talent like Jordan. Jordan could drink, party, smoke, gamble, 1 hour of sleep, and he'll kill you. Kobe had to work for that talent, and he never gave up. I mean, the guy won. He beat the Sixers with his knees. His knees were rubbing against each other, playing 44 minutes a game. The last 2 games, there was nothing there. It was bone against bone. After they won, when they went to do the celebration, his ass went right to Germany because this shithole place doesn't allow you to have stem cells that you need. But he played with bone to bone 2 games in the finals and didn't complain. Nobody even knew but the team. To me, you never give up. You fight through it. You get the fucking job done.
Yeah. It's doing hard shit every day and doing things that you don't want to like, and what it all comes down to is discipline. And stop putting a negative connotation with discipline. It's a good thing. If someone has discipline in their life, they're happy, I promise you. So start thinking of discipline in this boss voice as good, right? Stop thinking about getting uncomfortable as a bad thing. You're changing when you're getting uncomfortable. You're growing. That's where you want to live, man.
Bro, you guys got to do a podcast on this. You'll kill. When Kobe Bryant would not give the ball to Shaq, until he worked.
Yeah.
So now Shaq's 7'2", right, Rob? Remember watching him?
Yeah.
Kobe wouldn't pass him the ball. He'd be wide open.
Yeah.
And unless Shaq boxed himself out the right way, put the work in, Kobe wouldn't give him the ball. He passed it to everybody else but him. And that's when that whole big fight started. They're friends now.
Yeah.
But like you said, discipline. No, you think because you're 7'2", I just worked I'm going to give you the ball. They're going to foul you.
Yeah.
And because you didn't practice your foul shots with discipline, you're going to get to the foul line and you're going to miss both. And now we're going to be behind. And now I'm going to have to carry the fucking weight.
Mm-hmm.
So either you're going to box out and get down low where you can just reach up and dunk it.
Correct.
Right? Where if they foul you, at least we got two.
Yep.
Okay? And if you don't, then I'm not going to give you the ball. And that's discipline. And that takes balls when the guy is 7 foot something and he hit him. They got in a fight and he hit him.
Ooh,
Yeah, they got in a fight.
Hit by Shaq. Oof.
Yeah.
They hit each other. Ooh. No, they threw down. Kobe and Shaq threw down.
I know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to.
Is that on film?
I'm sure somebody has it. So did Jordan and Pippen. They went at it. And Jordan and who was the tall one? Do you guys watch the Bulls?
No, not Pippen. Are you talking about the guy with the earrings and shit?
No, Dennis Rodman. No, he got in a fight with the tall guy. There was a tall guy with the Bulls, and Jordan just walked up and punched him right in the face.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who else he did it to. Steve Kerr.
Wow.
Who coaches Curry now.
I feel like he's a nice dude. I feel like you shouldn't. No, Steve Kerr.
Well, he probably missed a shot that Jordan didn't fucking like, and he didn't practice one night and fucking hit him.
Yeah.
Seriously, back then, I mean, it was like, and then Phil Jackson. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
The Zen Master, bro.
Yeah.
That'd be a good topic.
That Netflix documentary with the Bulls is ridiculous.
Crazy.
And it shows you how much work goes into something. But no, we have a lot of these podcasts where we kind of specially talk about one of these few things. We released one yesterday basically about the law of attraction and visualization, the gratitude list. Because when it comes to that, like what he talked about in the beginning, to me, blue collar guy, that's some foo-foo manifestation bullshit. Like, don't come with me with writing down every day. Okay, And
I had said like Kobe or a celebrity like that, because if I put on your podcast and you say, I'll write this shit down, okay? Even if you have 10 million, subscribers and 500 million views every video, I'm not writing shit down.
Sure.
But if you portray it in a way with a celebrity or a famous athlete or something like that, maybe I'll fucking listen. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
That's so true. Sure. And when someone has that belief in yourself, like, you ever been out to dinner with a bunch of healthy ass people and like you want to order some, chicken wings or something, and they're eating kale and they're eating gluten free, and you're like, damn, I guess I'm getting the salad tonight, right? So it's about how you surround yourself, the people you have influence you. He's made me a better person and push for more. I've made him do 75 soft and realized to put some discipline and structure in.
He's even naming it your name.
It's got a good ring to it.
So I think it's about who you surround yourself with, working on the internal, pushing that bitch voice away, doing hard shit every day. And like I said, if you start replacing the word discipline with self-love, I'm not eating that pizza because I love myself too much. I want myself to look sexy.
And what's the opposite of self-love? Insecurities.
Correct.
As you start building the discipline and you gain the confidence, the insecurities just go away.
Yeah.
How could I have insecurity about being fat when last night I just said no to the pizza and I picked the salad?
Right.
That's a bad man. I literally just said, no, devil, get the fuck away.
I was trying to get out of you, Nick.
That's it, man.
Trying to pull it out of this motherfucker.
God damn. So that's, to me, why I have so much confidence now. We're like 72 days in. If I was at seeing some friends this weekend. We were at a sports bar and I got offered a drink. I laughed and I said, no, thank you. That's just not what I'm doing right now. No, Nick, because I'm the drunk guy, tequila shots, blacking out. I'm that dude. And yo, Nick, come on, bro. Like, I'm that hype man, spending $400 at a fucking bar. And now they expect that because that was my identity. And I have so much conviction now on what I'm doing in my life. I stopped living for what I wanted right now in the present, and I started living for what the fuck I want actually in life. Insecurity and not loving yourself is when you're acting something else than who you are. And when you know who you are and you're going after that, I don't care if someone laughs at me for not taking a shot. I don't care if someone laughs at me for not eating their birthday cake or telling me I'm stupid. I don't care if someone looks at me and they said, you want to make how much this year? No fucking way, man. Just because you have disbelief within yourself to do something, don't put that shit on me, And when you start to believe in yourself, I'm reading this book now, The Magic of Thinking Big. If you ever read a book in your life, read that book. If you're watching right now, The Magic of Thinking Big, but it's all about belief. And ultimately, if you have belief and conviction in yourself, your mom saying, honey, I don't think that business plan is going to work out. Or your cousin saying, damn, you got a podcast, bro? You really think that's going to work? That market's pretty saturated right now. You're going to say, yeah, it's going to work because I'm going to make it work. Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem in today's society. Is that people go and they have a great idea and they call mommy, they call their sister, their brother, their jerk off friend that isn't their friend, that doesn't want them to get better than them, but they think it's their friend.
Correct.
And they say, well, Pete said this isn't a good idea. My mom said this is stupid. Nick says, what, are you out of your mind? You know, and then, okay, I'm not going to do it. Then I'll have another idea and I'll call the same fucking people and hear the same thing.
Yeah.
That's a real big, I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And back to the analogy I said on our podcast, if I wake up, right, you wake up in the morning, first thing you do, brush your teeth, wash your face a little bit, whatever, and you look at the mirror and there's a clear face, right? 10 minutes later, if you're walking down the sidewalk from your car to the plaza and someone says, holy shit, that's a huge zit, you're going to say, no, what the fuck are you talking about? But why when you wake up at 5 a.m. with a dream of, I want a six-pack, and someone looks at you 10 minutes later like, this happened to me 6 months ago, and they say, you're on a diet? Why do I believe that? I should believe what I'm going after. Right? But when it's belief from the external, you start to believe it. Right? When you know for a fact something is there or something is not there, like I don't have a pimple on my face, that's belief. That's conviction. So why when you have a belief and conviction in a dream, when someone says it's not there, you say, okay, you're right. Fuck that. You don't actually have belief in that. And how do you get belief? You do get belief by doing hard shit every day, showing up to work when you don't want to show up. Tonight I gotta go home and answer emails. My bedtime's 9 p.m. It's going to be 10:30, 11, but I'm going to do it. Because I write it down every single day, because I'm grateful for it, right? Which makes me view it in a positive light. It's all
that is the biggest problem, right there. It's other people influencing other people not to go get or just too worried about what other people think.
That's it.
Like I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because you worked on yourself, though.
Yeah. Like now, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I could care fucking less. I really don't. But I know so many people that just fucking are so influenced around people around them that do not give two shits about them.
But that's what he was saying. Misery breeds misery.
Yeah, that's
if you're
it.
around misery, you're a miserable person.
Yeah.
If you hear it all day, oh, life sucks. Oh, I hate my job. Well, we're all there. I was there. Oh, I hate this. Oh, hate this. What do? You hate your life. You hate this. You hate that. And you all get along because you all hate it. You really do. Like, yeah, this fucking place sucks. Let's have another beer.
Yeah, but like, hey, Pete, do you hate yourself?
Then-
All right, come on, jump in the car.
Right.
Nick, you hate yourself? All right, come on.
Yeah.
Who hates more?
Yeah.
Who hates yourselves more? Okay, you get shotgun.
And it does nothing for you. Like to tie it somehow back into the law of attraction and like the thinking positive thing.
Sure.
It's easier said than done for sure, but I can promise you dwelling on the negative and thinking about negative shit is doing absolutely nothing for you, you know? And doing this 10-minute gratitude list may sound like magic foo-foo shit, but it's a step in the right direction, and it's worth giving a shot. It doesn't cost you anything. If you really want to fucking change your life, it's really easy to just take that simple step in the right direction. And I think you were getting ready to start making this point because you said 6 months ago manifesting was a word you'd say with finger quotes. You didn't believe in writing a gratitude list. That's not how you feel today. What happened? How'd that change?
I'm going to answer that in 1 sec. I got to say this quote to kind of finish off that point.
Sure.
For people who love to pull people down, it's this. The beauty of doing nothing is that you could do it perfectly. Only when you do something in life is it almost impossible to do it without mistakes. Therefore, people that are contributing nothing to society except for their constant criticisms can feel both more intellectually and morally superior than you. So when you're doing nothing in life and you're doing it perfectly and someone else is going to go try something and you feel like they're stupid for trying something, so you're going to give your criticisms, right? Because now you're in a perfect place and you're going to tell them it's not going to work out. So if someone looks at you and they said that you can't do that, that's A, based off of their own belief, but B, because they're not doing anything. Have you ever met a successful person in life who's really worked for who they had, that had someone come to them with an idea and they say, no, fuck off with that? No, because they're a dreamer, because they built nothing from something from nothing as well. I've never seen someone happy say something negative to someone like that. It's always people at the bottom that are trying to pull. And so realize that if you're getting that type of I'm not even going to call it advice. If you're getting that type of energy in your life, respectfully say, go fuck yourself and do what you want to do. You know, and even if that might come from mom or dad or cousin or best friend, they don't mean it maliciously, but they're putting their self-limiting beliefs on you, and that's not okay.
Could not agree with you more.
Well said.
And they believe them, and
Yeah.
and they have to understand that mommy isn't going to always be here.
Correct.
You know, Fred, Jim, Sal, they're not living your life.
Yeah.
You have your own life. And one day mom is going to be gone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And you have to live for you. And what makes you happy is what makes you. You can't live for other people.
Yeah.
And another thing to your question earlier that relates to this is I changed a lot of people around me.
Yeah.
I made my circle really fucking small.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob and maybe 2 other guys I talk to on a regular basis, and that's it. And before, it was, just a bunch of bums.
Because when you're living for the external, you want more of it. I want more
Yeah,
friends.
sure.
I want more cars.
Sure.
I want more money. Nah, but that ain't fucking fulfilling you, man. I don't care that you're banging 7 girls a week. Why do you feel unfulfilled?
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
And it's almost like everybody kind of has to go through that in a way,
100%.
right? To then better themselves to get the mindset like you guys got. What were you gonna say, Rob?
No.
Oh, I thought
Yeah, no.
it's good, man. I mean,
agree.
you guys are doing a great thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
brother. I appreciate it.
You really are. I mean, this podcast, you guys could really change some shit.
Thank you,
I
man.
mean, really.
Thank
right?
you.
Don't you think, Rob? I mean,
it's-
fuck.
I appreciate it.
You know,
It's just- Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It's just the positivity. Everybody's gonna go through struggles. You're gonna have bad days. We all have them. And you're gonna be down in the dumps sometimes. But it's then getting yourself out of that mindset, and I think it's just being around like-minded thinking people and people that think the same way. Because if you don't, you get pulled back down.
Correct. And the last thing on the devil and the angel analogy, I said, right, you have a boss and a bitch voice in your head. And when the boss voice is doing really well, meaning that you're doing amazing in life, you're on 72 straight days and you're whatever, that bitch in the closet that you just knocked out, right, is now scheming of what he could come up with. So maybe if that bad Tuesday where you wake up and you don't feel like doing what you want to do is the devil saying, nah, man, you thought you was there? Now I'm going to come and knock you out. I'm going to pop your tie on the way to work. I'm going to have someone cuss you out at Home Depot. I'm going to throw you curveballs. So you're not going to the gym today. You thought you were slick, right? Nah, not today. And so when I hear this voice in real time, I thought, I told Pete all the time, and I say it on my podcast all the time, I speak out loud to myself. So when these thoughts come in where like, if I have to do 6 sprints and I'm on the second sprint and then it's like, Nick, you did more sprints than you did yesterday. Chill out, bro. You're doing great, man. I laugh and I say, nah, not today, motherfucker. You thought you was slick, right? I'm at that bar and I'm in a committed marriage, right? And that beautiful 10 walks up to you. And I was like, you devil in a different form. Get the fuck away from me. That's not happening, bro. You think you're slick. You think you're going to come back and knock me out, knock my discipline and my self-love out? Get the fuck away from me. So when you start
Isn't
viewing
that
these
the
thoughts,
truth?
bro, and at 6 a.m. when your alarm rolls off and that says, damn, that fan's rolling, boy. Bro, why are these sheets so comfy? Why are sheets so comfy in the morning, bro? You're like, I wish I slept like this when I first fell asleep and now I'm tired as fuck. What if these voices were just there to fuck your day up? What if these voices was just that devil in disguise saying, nah, you thought you were slick. You thought you had discipline. You thought that you were uncomfortable today. Nah, not today, man. Today it's stormy outside. Go home, smoke a joint, eat fast food, bro. You deserve it. You need a cheat day. You need a cheat day, man. You know, and so it comes in these slick ass ways. But nah, not today. You are not beating me today. And when all you focus on is today, all I focus on is today, everything slows down, man. I don't give a fuck what Susie says. I don't give a fuck what happens to me in the external. I got to get my shit done today. So when everything else shows up, I'm chilling, man.
And I think the more you're able to make
Well
that
said.
right choice in those positions where the devil's talking and you're able to say not today and make the right decision, eventually over time, those voices get fewer and further between and less loud.
For real.
And it just becomes every day, you know?
It's kind of like what you had said earlier, like muscle memory in a different type of way. The more you do it, the more it's just
The
muscle
easier it gets,
memory,
yeah.
and it's just routine, you know?
Most powerful force in the world is momentum. People don't talk about it. Momentum and rolling and just continue that momentum, and it's an unstoppable force almost.
I don't know, man. Sometimes a nice cheesesteak with cheese whiz.
Yeah.
Man,
I-
That's it.
I can't. I can't.
I have 2 cheat days a week. I got a 10
Hey, you
pack.
gotta
There's
remember, bro.
balance. There's balance.
There is. You know,
He's not there yet, but when he gets a little bit, he'll realize he needs to have cheat days. Otherwise, you have to shock your body.
I know the path I'm on right now, and if it's someone who's considering making a change in life, do whatever that means to you, right? I'm an extremist. I'm a 180 guy. I'm a guy to take it. But if for you, it's just making your bed every morning for a month. Take that momentum, roll that into making your bed every morning every month, and do 100 sit-ups before you go to work, right? It could be steps, but guess what? Make those steps consistent. Show up every fucking day, and I don't care if your abs are sore or you had food poisoning last night. You do those 200 crunches every fucking day. So now the third month, when you say something crazy like, I'm going to wake up at 5 and go to the gym, you now have belief within yourself because you just did stuff for the last 60 days without waver. Right, so start with small steps, but keep those steps consistent and then start adding on. Pete just did 75 soft. He texted me last week. He says, when you do 75 hard in October, I'm going to do it with you.
But he had to start soft.
Right,
So
exactly.
you have
Baby
to
steps
evaluate yourself
Correct.
first, to what's manageable.
There's different paths to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Everyone's different. Every program is different for every person, you know? Like that 75 hard may not be for everyone. But I think everyone can apply that same concept in their own way.
Yeah, anybody can apply something in 75 hard to
It's about
structuring
the
themselves.
discipline
Yeah.
and the commitment without any compromise.
It's one of many tools you guys use.
It makes the ultimate tool, because now with this tool, I could wield anything. You know, I could wield a fitness. I could wield a marriage. Discipline is the root of everything. You know, so when you now have that muscle, every single challenge you want to go on, you're going to complete. It's not going to be a challenge that I spent $100 for, spend 2 days on, and then that's a waste of $100, because now you have the muscle that actually matters. So you take that muscle, you put it into anything in your life, you're going to succeed, period.
You two at your age are, I don't know any other guys at your age that have your heads on as good as you do.
Thank
Rob?
you, man.
I mean, these guys got their fucking heads on.
They are millennials by the
Hey.
By definition.
Look at him.
I'm still thinking you got fucking blonde hair, Tommy.
All right, Nick. Promote your construction company website.
Guys, it's A&A Development. It's my father and I's company.
I'll be hiring him, by the way.
Hey,
I
Papo.
think Rob will be too.
My dad's been doing it for 42 years. I've been doing it almost 7. We're the guys that treat you like family. And if you want someone just to consult to or talk to or ask questions about, call me. That's what I'm here for. And if I can't do it, I will definitely lead you in the right direction. I'll be realistic about timelines, and trying to build anything right now is very hard. Between supply chains, labor forces, and just an unknown schedule. So if you are getting a contractor who's saying, ma'am, I'm just too busy, he's probably not lying. And be understanding with that. But if you want to reach out, guys, and to have someone to consult with, talk with, ask general questions, call me or email me. We'll put that information on here, and we'll get connected. Again, it is my goal to be the best and most premier builder in Palm Beach County before I die, and I'm going to make it happen. So now it's that's the answer, right? Now, what algorithm do I have to put in my life to get to that result? Because that belief is there. I'm grateful every day for being the biggest builder in Palm Beach County, motherfucker. I'm gonna back that up.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that every single day, and now I want to work to be the hardest and best person I could be to be in that point. So and I'm happy about my growth. You know, to someone watching this, guys, if you're older than 26 and 27, and you say that these guys are gonna have a lot more rough shit in life. Oh, these kids are young; they don't know what's coming. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. We don't know what's coming. But as I said on my podcast, I don't have anxiety about that. I don't have anxiety, because all I do is wake up every single day and work on my fucking self. What is anxiety? That's the external. I don't focus on that shit. And when that shit comes, I'm going to be primed to fight that shit as hard as I can, because I work on myself every single day. So no, I don't know if a recession's going to happen. I don't know if this shit's going to happen to me. I don't know if someone in my family is going to get sick. I don't know. But why would I worry about that? I'm going to worry about making my family healthy. How do I do that? I do that by influencing them. How do I do that? I do 75 hard. Don't tell me you can't change the world. Don't tell me you can't change you, your family, and your local community. You can do whatever the fuck you want in life, but you got to change yourself first. So stop complaining about the politics and this and that. Focus on your fucking self. And if everyone did that, this country would be in a whole different other place.
Not lying about
Focus
that.
on yourself, man. Be that person you want to be, and watch other people gravitate to that motherfucker. You're at a company dinner for Christmas, and that boss orders something. You're gonna change your order accordingly. Why? Because he's the motherfucking boss, and you respect him.
That's right.
Right. So be that influence within your company where someone says, "Wow, he's doing that."
And pay for his dinner.
That's
without
it.
him
That's
knowing.
it.
Without him knowing, and let him find out on his own.
That's it. And it's that type of respect where ultimately you've done and backed up what you've said you were going to do so many times that when you say something, these people are like, fuck it, I'll finally believe him. Like this, he's backed that shit up 4 times. If I don't believe him at this point, he's right. You know, like shit. I'm just a hater. So at some point, when do haters become your supporters? It's when you do enough shit too many times where mom's like, listen, I told him not to open his own business, but he's like a fucking 7-figure guy, so I guess I can shut up now.
You know who told him not to do it? Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
The biggest guy on the planet. He's
YouTuber,
the biggest
yeah.
YouTuber on the planet.
Yeah.
There's no one even close.
And his mom told him not.
Destroys Rogan. He's not even in. Rogan can't even hold a stick to him. And his mom told him not to do it, but he did it anyway. And he's 17, right?
Yeah.
He's 17, 18.
Mr. Beast is 17 years old.
No,
I know. When he started,
when he started.
or he started like 13,
Yeah.
but he persisted.
Yeah. Right out of high school, he just started uploading YouTube videos. I watched a podcast on it. But it's just, what did he have? He had belief.
Yep.
You know, that's it.
One last question for you. When do you think the housing market prices will level out? Like how like in your estimation? Just
right now, it's
a
a combination of no inventory and inflation, and we're getting flooded from New York, California. I mean, I had a client last year, San Diego. I shouldn't. Just not even gonna say it. A client.
I know what you're about to say.
Yeah,
I'll say it. So
yeah.
I have a friend. He sold his house in New York, moved down here. Yeah, he sold his house in New York for like 1.4, paid maybe 500 for it back whenever. It was 30 years. Moved down here. Bought a house down here for $800,000, $150,000 over the asking price, which was already $200,000 over the actual price,
correct.
Right? So then it's listed at say $850. Somebody's about to buy it for $850. He comes in, boom, cash buy $975. 2 years ago that house was $600.
Correct.
Okay? Then he takes that other $400K he's got left. And he's opening up a taco joint with an Italian twist on top of it.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wait.
In Fort
I'm
Lauderdale.
going to break that down for a sec.
Meatball.
You said an Italian place with a tacos twist on it, or a taco place with an Italian twist on it?
Yeah, right. The other way around. It's a taco. He's opening up a taco joint in Fort Lauderdale, but he's making the tacos Italianish.
That's either going to be the best thing ever in the world, or
the
it's
worst.
going to be the worst thing ever in the
Farm
world.
tacos?
I don't think anyone's going to ever go there and be like, oh, that was okay. You know?
But you know, I bet you people are going just to try it out.
I'm going to
Just
fucking go,
because
yeah.
it's completely different.
100%.
But I mean, that's what they're doing. They're selling shit,
Yeah.
you know, and making, especially in New York, right?
Yeah.
A fucking room in the Hamptons is Jesus.
Yeah.
So you know they can even down here. After that, they have money. They're coming in cash buy. They don't give a shit that they're paying $300,000 over the fucking asking price.
I had a client pay his mortgage in Florida from what he saved from income tax to now being a resident of Florida from a resident from California. You work at California, right? They're taking 40% income tax Monday and Tuesdays for the government, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays for yourself, right? So he said, fuck that. I'm going to move to Florida. We're working remotely anyways. When I'm saving in income tax, I'm literally paying my mortgage, renovating my place for. That's happening all the time. Imagine that, you know? So this is the influx of people here, and it's just hard in my industry right now because money's not the issue. We got people coming here literally saying it's a blank check. And I was like, yeah, that's the 6th blank check I've seen this week. You know, it doesn't mean I could get my guys to show up because there's 18 blank checks over there. So we understand that.
How long do you think, though? How long do you think things level out?
I don't think it's going to be the mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008. I do think that it's going to slow down. I think that with it slowing down, the inflation is going to continue to rise, so it's going to make the home prices seem higher. But it is going to slow down. Inventory is going to come back. South Florida did get hit hard by that. And I would say in the next 12 to 18 months, it's going to slow down. Everyone's expecting this drop. Everyone's expecting a 2007 floof. I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm with you.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it's going to slow down. So people are going to be like, oh my God, it's coming. And then it's just going to steady out. And I'm hoping for that because it's really hard. It's sad for my generation, right? These millennials and these Gen Ys, where the fuck you want to call them, that are trying to buy a home. I mean, I have people I know who is it's a couple of a firefighter and a teacher, the most beautiful American couple you could have. That's like the two most American like couple jobs ever, right? And almost 30 years old, can't buy a house because you can't buy a shoebox in Palm Beach County right now for under $700,000. So, but that's sad to me that this is a family 5-10 years ago who could easily have a middle, class house and have a like white picket fence and everything, but now they're renting and now they're giving money back into that system because who's the landlord? The guy who just moved down from New York who paid $975 for an $850
and
house.
it's not a whole lot easier to rent right now either.
It's not.
When I first moved down here, say 2018, I was living in a place here in Jupiter. It's $4,000 a month rent, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. Now to rent
10.
$7,500. I'm sure it'll be 10 next month.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
it's insane.
To rent a 4-bedroom, and we're not talking like Palm Beach Island.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening, Palm Beach Island is like this, the road out here is like I don't know, 50 million and above.
Plus, yeah.
We're talking just regular, nice area, but
sure.
Not fucking $7,000 a month in rent. You would think you're in Times Square 5 years ago.
Correct. And
Now, Pete, you want to promote your tattooing?
Yeah,
private?
absolutely.
How can somebody set up I know Rob is interested.
Sure.
A private tattoo.
Yeah. If you want to see my portfolio, I would look just through Instagram, Pete Casso. Pretty much all the work I do is on there, and it's probably the best way to get in touch with me too. You can DM me through Instagram. Or through the Pete Casso website. You can see a lot of my portfolio on there too, and submit an inquiry.
And then how often are you guys putting out the podcast? Do you have like certain days you always put them on the same day?
Yeah, every
People
Monday.
want to check it every Monday you put one out?
Yep.
Okay, and we'll have all that in the description.
Thank you.
Anything else you guys want to promote or anything? I mean,
that was a lot of fun.
Impressed, man. You guys got your head on straight.
Man. Thanks.
You guys are doing a good thing, and you're trying to help other people too on top of that.
That's
really cool.
I guess the last thing in a totally Dr. Phil way I'll say is,
you're going to kill me about that.
Yeah. Listen, you're blonde. I get it. Sometimes you say some stuff.
Oh my God, you call me Dr. Phil? Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
You didn't know, but it's an insecurity.
They called me Dr. Phil. What do I do?
You wouldn't believe what this Tommy guy just said.
hey, Jake, Phil. Hey, Joe. Who gives a fuck? Okay, I don't want that from Joe, so let's hang up on Joe. Let me call the next one that's going to tell me.
Next time I come in, I'm going to have a bald wig and his mustache, yeah. No, but Tommy, thank you. Guys, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to be in a spot where you're confused or you don't know what your purpose in life is or you're unhappy. But as Pete and I say all the time, what I do know is going to make it worse is pushing it off. And what I do know is going to fix it is attacking it head on. So realize that we all got problems. We all got shit, and I could help you. I could hug you. But ultimately, that's your shit you're going to have to deal with. I can't fix that for you. Mm-hmm. So identify the shit. Audit yourself in the ways that you could become a better person. And just do hard shit in that category every single day. And anyone can change your life, guys. I was a fat blob. I had a 2.4 GPA. I dropped out of college. I am not intelligent, right? But I work hard, and if I don't know something, I'm going to learn something, right? Because that's a muscle that was forged through discipline, right? I was a fat boy, but now I'm not, right? Because I did that shit, right? So you are not who you think you are and who you identify as. You could always change that. Your temperature on that thermostat could always change. You set that motherfucking temperature. So you want to change your life. You change that temperature on your identity. You become a different person. You back that up with belief and doing hard shit every day. The world is yours, man. These people who you idolize, they are simply humans that followed through on the shit that they said they were going to say. Kobe was that good because he took 200 shots after that because he said he was going to do it, right? So if you want to do something in your life, say something and then back it up by fucking doing it, and you could ultimately do whatever the fuck you want to do in life.
Well said.
Hell yeah,
Pete,
bro.
anything else?
I'm not going to try and follow that
I don't know how you can beat that one. That would be like going after Chappelle, right?
Dude, I think that's the perfect spot.
Yeah, I'm sick. Guys,
Tommy, thank you,
I'm just messing with you. You got a great sense of humor, both of you.
Thank you, man.
We love you. I'm not gonna lie. Before this, again, Not that I don't trust anyone on social media, but in today's world, it's sometimes you think you vibe with someone on social media and then you meet them in real life and you're like, oh, okay, well that was a little different, but whatever. You're amazing, and for your consistent viewers, guys, Rob and Tommy are just as cool in real life as you think they are. So,
thank you,
yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you guys coming in.
Yeah.
Hopefully you come back and as everything expands and learn more about the building and Rob will have a tattoo. I'll get another one. Rob will have something built. I'll fucking something built because I'm not paying 1.2. Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it. Might as well.
Yeah.
I could use another one. I haven't had one in a while.
I love it.
All right, guys. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Hope you guys come back in again, man.
Yes, thank
you very much.
Appreciate you.
All right, Pete. Nick. MSCS Media is now part of the Spotify exclusive team. If you'd like to watch this episode and others uncensored and uncut, click on the link in the description below.